favorite against Republican Jonathan Chavez in the deep blue district extending from Gwinnett down to Clayton County. In July, Congressman Scott's daughter will be one of many candidates running in a special election to finish his current term. Scott died in April after holding the seat in Congress since 2003. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
We'll have continuing coverage and analysis of the primary election results throughout the day here at 95.5 WSB, your 2026 election station. You can also find a full list of election results at WSBRadio.com and on the WSB Radio app. Well, happening this hour, a story we'll be keeping an eye on today. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens is at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport this morning as he's set to highlight joint actions with city, state, and federal law enforcement to crack down on exploitation and violence ahead of major sporting events. And, of course, it will come just weeks before the start of the World Cup in the U.S. in several major cities, including right here in Atlanta. Well, we've seen shortages in the past. Now a possible strike at a chip plant could threaten the global supply.
Talks between Samsung and its largest labor union broke down. That raises the prospect of a strike on Thursday in South Korea. A walkout may disrupt global chip supply and hamper an important engine of Korean economic growth. The collapse in negotiations puts the global technology supply chain at risk because Samsung is the world's biggest supplier of chips that go into devices ranging from data center servers to electric vehicles to smartphones. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
Well, despite sky-high gas prices, almost 40 million Americans are expected to hit the road for Memorial Day holiday weekend, but there is a key for when it's best to drive.
Wherever you are, the worst times to get on the road this holiday weekend will be Thursday from noon to 9 p.m., Friday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from noon to 5. Now, for the return trip home, experts say Sunday will be the day with the least amount of traffic.
But Alex Perez reports Monday, Memorial Day, will be slammed in most places. If you must travel on Monday, though, try to leave as early as possible to try to avoid the crowds. And for the first time in 25 years, Google makes changes to its search box.
The new search bar is bigger, so you can type in longer questions. You can also upload videos or photos into your searches and ask a chatbot follow-up questions.
Michael Wallace reports Google's CEO says it's possible courtesy of the company's new artificial intelligence model, which he claims is 4 times faster and half the price of competing AI models. It's 9:03. Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. First, we go to the WSB 24-hour traffic center and Smiler Mark McKay.
All right, Judd, still a rough go bit into downtown. North of the airport, 166 Langford Parkway, loaded up to I-20. Speaking of I-20, looks like a new crash in the work zone out of Lithonia Stonecrest. Seen slowing now on 20 westbound on the approach Manola Road, exit 71. And on the north side perimeter, difficult through Doraville. Peachtree Boulevard southbound leaving Tilly Mill Road and 285 westbound at I-85 due to a crash working right shoulder, 285 west past Peachtree Boulevard, exit 31. Some relief now on the Stone Mountain Freeway, Chip Canales.
That's right. It's starting to get a little bit better, making your way over into Clarkston, Highway 78 westbound just after Mountain Industrial Boulevard. That crash was blocking out one left lane. Now it's off to the right shoulder, and delays are starting to improve as you're making your way towards I-285. From the Loud Security System Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today with a high of 89. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms possible for the ride home this afternoon into this evening. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow and Friday, hot and humid conditions with partly cloudy skies and a few afternoon thunderstorms. Highs in the mid-80s.
Boy, already warm out there. 70 degrees in Austell, 71 in Stone Mountain, 74 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome to this post-election day edition of the Mark Arum Show. A lot of sleepy folks in the newsroom today. We were all over the election day coverage yesterday. We're going to be all over the results today. We're going to talk to Shelley Winter, who was live at 7 p.m. I was listening to the post-election recap from Shelley yesterday. Going to get his reaction at 10 o'clock. Extended political analyst Stephen Lawson live in studio at 10:35. Poor Stephen, I was texting him. Everyone in the political circle of my social circle, I was texting. I had so many unanswered questions that I wanted to know. So I apologize to all the people I was bombarding with text messages yesterday. Really, really interesting results. And I want to start We're going to do the nationwide stuff, too, because there's big primaries, especially in Kentucky. We're going to check in with correspondent Rory O'Neill in a second. But, Deborah, going into the, we've been talking about this, the primary for months and months and months. And a couple of the big questions I had yesterday, and I was trying to get answers from Stephen Lawson and everyone else I was texting. First question was, would there be a runoff in the Democratic primary for governor? And the answer is no.
My name is Keisha Lance Bottoms, and I am humbled to be your Democratic nominee for governor.
It looks like the polls were right, showing Keisha, first it popped with an internal poll from Keisha Lance Bottoms that showed her way ahead, and I was dubious. And then more polling came up, and I don't know, I just thought that there would be a runoff. But I was mistaken. Keisha Lance Bottoms got 56% of the vote. Coming in second was Jason Estevez with 19%. The big surprise to me was that Michael Thurmond finished 13th. He's won statewide elections before. Jeff Duncan came in, former Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan came in fourth place with only 7% of the vote. So that was one of the big questions I had yesterday. Would there be a Democratic runoff? And there's not. Which I think, if you hear, and we're going to talk to Stephen Lawson and Shelley, but I think Republicans are happy that she is the candidate. I think in Republican circles, they see her as beatable. She didn't run for re-election for Atlanta mayor. But for the Democrats, she doesn't have to have a primary now, which means all the money she raises will be saved for the general election. If there was a runoff, they would have to spend money. And so I don't know, win-win, lose-lose, win-lose, win. I don't know, what the overall thing is there. We knew one thing we did know, Deborah, would there be a runoff for the Republican race for governor? I just don't know who would win. Because goodness gracious, of all the ads, of all the races, right? Just listen to this show on the daily basis. We knew it was going to be Burt Jones and Rick Jackson in the runoff. We just didn't know who would win. And with the votes tallied, Burt Jones collected 38% of the vote, 5-point margin of victory over Rick Jackson, who came in second. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger came in at third with 15%. And Chris Carr, who, when he first announced was, we assumed would be in the runoff with Burt Jones until Rick Jackson got in the race. He came in fourth place with 12% of the vote. So I told you how Keisha Lance Bottoms is not going to have to, do ads in a primary, but Mr. Jones and Mr. Jackson's are going to. And the question I have, and we'll ask Stephen Lawson this, is are we going to see the same types of ads we saw leading up to the primary election? Like the gloves off, this guy's a scoundrel, this guy's a jerk, they were some rough ads out there between Jones and Jackson, but we assumed that would be the runoff, and indeed we got it. And the third question I had was on the Supreme Court elections, the nonpartisan. So if you I went yesterday, by the way, and it was great. I walked right into my polling precinct, and you have a choice of Democratic ballot, Republican ballot, or nonpartisan ballot. And I didn't know what ballot to take. I was like, what's with the nonpartisan ballot? And the only votes for the nonpartisan ballot were the Supreme Court votes. So if you chose the nonpartisan ballot, you couldn't vote for the governor primary, the Senate primary, any of that. But it was interesting because we saw the ads, the controversial ads, some might say, of the Democrats running for the Supreme Court. And I'm trying to find the results here. It was pretty interesting. One of the Democrats came close to winning. Let's see, the Supreme Court, Bethel seat. Yeah. So Charles Bethel won a close race against Democrat Miracle Rankin, 51-49. That's really close. The other Democrat running for the Supreme Court was Jen Jordan, and she got smoked. She got dusted by 18%. So that means there were some split ballots there, some voting for the Democrat in one and others voting for the Republican in the other, which I kind of find interesting. And on the ballot, it doesn't say R or D. It's just, it's a nonpartisan ballot. So that was something I was curious to see. But it looks like the two incumbents held on to that. Eric Erickson had been telling folks, don't skip the down ballot. Don't skip the down ballot, because the Georgia Supreme Court races were at the end of the ballot. There was a bunch of, fluff questions there. Oh, I forgot. There was a bunch of incumbents where there was no one running against them. So you can either vote for the incumbent or that you can write in. Deborah Green, you got a massive amount of votes on my ballot yesterday. It took time because you got to do it manually, but you're going to see some Deborah Green write-in votes because I was like, I would trust you more than most of these people running, right, Vinny? I mean,
Sure.
Deborah gets things done.
She does.
So there was the people that are tabulating, they were like, Deborah Green.
Who is this?
Like, I voted for you in races where you don't even qualify for. Like, I wrote it like
good.
the Georgia
so I don't
coastal.
actually have to do anything.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you don't even live in Brunswick, but I wrote in Deborah. If there was an incumbent running unopposed, so like John Ossoff, I didn't vote there. So, but like for example, someone might expected, I'm going to get 100% of the votes. Not so fast. Deborah Green got 0.01% of the votes. So congrats, Deborah, on that. All right, we're going to go in depth on the local races and reaction with Stephen Lawson and Shelley Winter. But there was also a lot of primaries in other states that caught some attention. We'll start with this one.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrein in Tel Aviv.
That's Thomas Massey, and drawing some groans there. He drew the president's ire and went down bigly, as some might say, in that Kentucky primary. Continue our team coverage as correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, let's start with Thomas Massey and pretty sizable loss there.
Yeah, it was pretty significant, and it just is more evidence that President Trump has an awful lot of influence over the Republican primary voter. But does that translate come November when the president's popularity has never been lower? So it'll be interesting to see if these Trump-endorsed candidates are the answers to help the Republicans maintain control of the House and Senate. And, another issue that may pop up is, Massey has been cut free. You've got Senator Cassidy out of Louisiana, the Republican who lost his primary. He's been cut free. And President Trump just endorsed a Republican challenger in that Texas Senate Republican primary. If incumbent Senator John Cornyn loses next week, what if he's set free? And these Republicans are now out there. Maybe they side more with Democrats. And really, because they're going to be in office until January, they really could stop up the president's agenda for the rest of the year.
And we saw that with Cassidy, who lost his race and then voted with the Democrats on the war resolutions bill. So, yeah, I guess careful what you wish for. Let's talk about that Texas race there with President Trump endorsing Paxton. What do we know about the race, and do we have any idea who might, be triumphant there?
Well, right. That one is turning out to be close. You've got the four-term incumbent, John Cornyn, who has butted heads with the president on a few things. But no one can say he's not a conservative guy. But he has just not seen eye to eye on all the president's plans and policies. And that is enough in order to bring the ire of the president and have him endorse Ken Paxton, who is let's say a flawed candidate. He's got a lot of scandals in his past, both personal and professional. It'll be I think the Democrats are happy. They'd rather be facing Ken Paxton on the ticket this November. The other thing is that Senator Cornyn, the longtime incumbent, he was also a massive fundraising machine for the Republicans. Something like $400 million raised for the GOP during his time in office. Ken Paxton can't do that.
Our neighbors to the west in Alabama going to get a rematch. Senator Tommy Tuberville is going to be taking on former Democratic Senator Doug Jones in that. Do we have any idea if Jones can pull off a miracle and take down the former Auburn football coach?
Yeah, that would really have to be a miracle for that to happen. Tuberville goes into that race certainly as the heavy favorite. The second time these two faced each other, Tuberville defeated Jones by more than 20 points during the 2020 Senate race. So Tuberville is a huge favorite going into that run for governor.
Correspondent Rory O'Neill joining us here on the Mark Arum Show. Are there any national races or races outside of Georgia that I haven't mentioned yet? I guess the Mitch McConnell seat in Kentucky, also one that's getting some headlines.
Yeah, that is getting some headlines. Sort of the the McConnell protege sort of lost in that race in that Republican primary. Andy Barr turned out to be the winner, defeating the state attorney general Daniel Cameron. Now, Cameron was sort of seen as the heir to the McConnell seat, but that's not the way it's going to turn out. So we'll see what happens. You have two Trump-endorsed candidates winning big across Kentucky.
Rory, great stuff as always. Congrats on getting the Wordle in one try, my friend. That's high stuff right there.
I'm telling everybody, I will not shut up about it. Thanks, Mark.
See you, buddy. There is correspondent Rory O'Neill. The Massey story is pretty big because the polling indicated that he might have a chance to hold on, even though they spent $30 million on his defeat, which he did go down. One of the questions we're going to see is, now that Massey's unencumbered and is a lame duck, is he going to, break away like Cassidy did on that? So, President Trump got his retribution on everyone that he wanted. But now that those folks aren't beholden to the president, are they going to vote with the president, with the Republicans for the rest of their terms? I couldn't read my handwriting, so I forgot to bring up this local election. I apologize. The U.S. Senate race, the Republican primary, Mike Collins wins with 41% of the vote, but he will face a runoff against Derek Dooley, another former football coach who garnered 30%. Buddy Carter, who I think always assumed he would be in a runoff until Derek Dooley got in. He came in third place with 25% of the vote. This is Derek Dooley at the watch party yesterday. Why won't it let me play this? Shocking that it won't. Let's try this.
We punched our ticket to the runoff, and that's what it's all about.
There's Derek Dooley, and of course he was famously endorsed by Governor Brian Kemp, who made this comment after Derek Dooley makes the runoff.
Not only is he a great guy and we know his character, but he's also a political outsider, and that is what we need to beat Jon Ossoff.
So there you go. Jon Ossoff will face either Mike Collins or Derek Dooley. They are going to go in a runoff, and gloves might come off in that one as well. We'll see. What is a greater endorsement here in Georgia, the Trump endorsement of Collins or the Kemp endorsement of Dooley? A lot of unanswered questions. Race to the finish now in primary season. Again, we're going to be all over the election results. Shelley Winter's going to join us after the news at 10, and political analyst Stephen Lawson in studio at 10:35, an extended edition with political analyst Stephen Lawson here on the Mark Arum Show. When we come back, we are going to update our other top local stories. Right now, we're going to check the ride around town at 9:18. Oh, is it Magic Mike Shields?
Hey, good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Mike.
Making a little magic on the roadways for you after all lanes were blocked. Now reopen. Good news for you in Midtown, 7585 southbound as you get past Georgia Tech. Hearing has blocked all lanes to tow a stalled vehicle to the right shoulder, and they have reopened all lanes within the last 5 minutes. 7585 southbound at North Avenue. Of course, that impacted 75 south through Northwest Atlanta at Northside Drive. 85 south still slow out of Northeast Atlanta, leaving Georgia 400. Connector northbound on and off the brakes as you leave the airport at 166, getting up to I-20. This report is brought to you by John Foy & Associates personal injury law firm. John Foy & Associates have been fighting and winning accident cases against big trucks for years. Let them keep most money for you. Call John Foy, the strong arm, today. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
WSB's looking for a home for cable. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News. He is our dog of the month with Paws Atlanta. You can see him at WSBradio.com/dog. 5 years old, outgoing but chill, about 55 pounds, knows plenty of tricks. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, pays the adoption fees. WSBradio.com/dog.
Most attorneys take every type of case, but if someone causes you to lay your bike down, you need a true motorcycle accident specialist. Hey, it's Eric Von Hassler for Steel Horse Law. They only fight for injured motorcycle riders. One name, one specialty, 100% commitment to bikers from motorcycle attorneys that ride. You can trust them on the road and in the courtroom. Get your free case evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
Is your septic system out of sight, out of mind? When was the last time it was even inspected? Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. It should be inspected every 3 to 5 years to avoid a costly septic emergency. Our affordable routine maintenance will keep your system running smoothly.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump out charge with your repair.
ScorpionSepticServices.com
If you live through an Atlanta summer, you know your AC has to be ready. That's why I recommend Reliable Heating and Air. Hey, it's Mark Arum back with you right now. You can get any size AC, just $69.99 a month with zero down. And with their Comfort Club, repairs, maintenance, even filters are included for life. You can schedule your free consultation online at reliableair.com. Reliable Heating and Air, always here for you.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate. And there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Atlanta at 404-480-9606, 404-480-9606. That's 404-480-9606. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationatlanta.com.
We are here with CFP and investment advisor Aaron Vincent of the Vincent Financial Group and host of Retire ATL every weekend right here. Get more at retireatlradio.com. And Aaron, there are some adults that work with the big box firms, and they think to themselves, I feel like some of my needs aren't being met, or there are opportunities that they could be missing. So what would you tell that person that's thinking about getting that second opinion, thinking about making the call, but they just haven't yet?
Mark, what I would say to that person who thought about it or wanted to last year but didn't is why? Why didn't you? Let's get real here. Whether you're in your car driving or you're at your office, however you're listening to this, take a second or write this down or make a mental note. Why didn't you execute on that thought? That thought that you had, that feeling that you had about getting a second opinion, you didn't follow up with that. What's the reason? A lot of times we find people are intimidated by, I don't want to be transparent. I feel like if I admit where I'm at, I'm admitting failure or something along those lines. And let me just make the bridge to you right now. We aren't going to judge you if you wish you were at X, but you're only at Y. There's no shame in saying, I'm not where I want to be and I want to get there. That should be applauded. If anything, you're going to get applause from us because it's like the human condition, right? Life on earth, to raise your hand and say, I need some help. I'd like to get this thing shored up and I'm willing to tell you the truth about where I'm at to get there. That takes courage. It takes some guts. I respect that regardless of where you are, to say I'm willing to open myself up to that sort of conversation. That should be applauded.
To receive a personalized second opinion of your financial future from the team at the Vincent Financial Group, we invite you to call today, 770-280-1488. That's 770-280-1488 or online at retireatlradio.com. And join us for Retire ATL every weekend right here. And it's all powered by the Vincent Financial Group.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Mom was right. You need more sunlight.
Imagine your home filled with more natural light every day. Hey, it's Jonathan and Ted from NG Windows.
Brighten your home with Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows.
8 times stronger than vinyl with slimmer frames for more daylight and bigger views.
Experience the Infinity by Marvin fiberglass difference in your home or our Alpharetta showroom.
0% interest available.
Infinity by Marvin from NG Windows, yeah. Can you hear them? They talk about us.
9:25 on the Mark Arum Show. Happy 68th birthday, Jane Weidlin, co-founder, rhythm guitarist of the Go-Go's.
That's Weedlin.
Weedlin, obviously. I remember this was big in the roller rink days. 1981 hit. The Go-Go's, underrated band. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. I've got to apologize. So yesterday I started the show. I was talking to Judd about it. All these parents waiting with their kids out at the bus stops. I was like, well, you know, I didn't want to sound judgy, but I think I was a little judgy. I got a bunch of DMs on social media saying parents are required now in some jurisdictions to wait at the bus stops. I was like, okay, all right, I guess if that's required, then. And then Deborah, I mean, now if I had kids and this story popped up, yeah, you better believe I'm waiting at the bus stop with my kids There was a bus stop shooting in DeKalb County.
Yep, this was yesterday, DeKalb County for Stone Mountain High. There was a shooting at the bus stop at about just before 8 o'clock yesterday morning. Now, luckily, there were no major injuries. There were a couple minor scrapes and things, but nobody was severely injured. And the DeKalb County school system is saying, hey, families, you should speak to your children about making positive choices. So they're not really sure if this was targeted.
Yeah, who was the target?
Yeah, if it was like one student, because it was a high school, it's not an elementary school. So they're not sure if it was like bullying towards one kid, but they're just basically saying, be careful when you send your kids out to this bus.
So again, I didn't want to sound judgy. I think I probably did. But ironic that as we were talking about it, there was a shooting at a bus stop in DeKalb County. So I'm not going to judge parents if you're waiting out there with your kids. Real quick, Judd, at UGA, was Schlitz the beer of choice in your social circle?
No, not really.
Natty Light?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
same.
it. There you go. Yeah, of course.
Natty
Natty
Light.
Ice also on a special night. Yeah.
We couldn't afford Natty Ice. Schlitz, though, is one of those beers, and apparently it's going away for good, Deborah.
Yeah, goodbye Schlitz beer. Now, the malt liquor's still okay, but the beer is the one that's going away. So they actually stopped brewing this a couple months ago, but they're making, if you are a fan of the Schlitz beer, they're making a special batch from the original recipe back in the 1948, and it's going to be like one batch, and you can pre-order it if you love your Schlitz so much.
I don't remember loving Schlitz, but I'd like to have a Schlitz to say goodbye. So I have to order this online? Is it like the Swatch Watch? We got to wait outside at Lenox
There's
Mall?
going to be a drop, and
All right. Judd has your news, weather, and traffic. I should mention Grand for Gas giveaway 10:12 a.m. Another chance to win $1,000. When we come back, though, we're going live to D.C. The IRS settlement announced by the DOJ yesterday. White House correspondent Scott McFarland live next on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, your house called. It wants a bath. Not just any bath either, a full-on pollen-blasting, grime-busting spa day from Wise Guys Pro Wash. If your home looks anything like mine did, covered in pollen and grime and algae, then it's time you give Wise Guys Pro Wash a call. One quick call, a fast quote, and next-day service. I found it was that easy, and the best part, I didn't even need to be home. They handled everything, the house, the deck, and the driveway. It all looked amazing when I pulled in from work. They even cleaned the roof. All those black streaks are gone now. Wise Guys can take care of it all. And thanks to their soft wash, everything was cleaned safely. No damage, no peeling paint on our siding and trim. No wonder they've got more than 2,000 five-star reviews. I trust Wise Guys Pro Wash to get it done right every time. So mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $70 off your next service. But hurry, summer fills up fast. Book now at wiseguysprowash.com.
It all begins with a solid foundation, and that includes your home. So if your foundation needs repair, insist on the highest quality in the industry.
Hi, I'm Mark Beckham, owner of Atlanta Ramjack, an independent organization certified that Ramjack repair products outperform the rest. We often have to remove and fix our competitors' work.
Only Ramjack offers a fully transferable life of the structure warranty. Google Atlanta Ramjack for your free estimate.
Ramjack. Heard in a crash? Call the accident attorneys at Sweet James, 800-9-million. The system's rigged, friends. Insurance companies protect themselves. Sweet James protects you. $2 billion won, 500 trials, 98% winning record. They put power and respect on your side. Pay no fees unless they win. 800-9-million. 800-9-million. 800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorneys.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Judd Hickenbotham. News this half hour brought to you by Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Our top story, the second chapter begins today in the race for Georgia's next governor, while Democrat and former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms wins her primary outright Tuesday. It'll be a runoff between Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and billionaire political newcomer Rick Jackson to secure the Republican nomination.
The Republican primary for governor is now moving into a new phase as Jones and Jackson duke it out for the nomination. In his election night speech to a packed ballroom at the Omni Hotel at the Battery, Jackson projected confidence.
We beat the odds tonight
and we're going to win on June 16th.
During his speech in his hometown of Jackson, Georgia, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones says he's gearing up for a fight.
I love getting this guy one-on-one. I can promise you that. So I've been looking for that.
Whoever wins will face Keisha Lance Bottoms in November. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Now in other races, it's a runoff for the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate between Derek Dooley and Congressman Mike Collins. An annexation vote that would have added about 20,000 more residents to Lawrenceville has fallen short in Gwinnett County. We'll have continued coverage and analysis of the primary election results throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB, your 2026 election station. You can also find a full list of election results at WSBRadio.com and on the WSB Radio app. It is 75 degrees already in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says a chance of rain going up this afternoon. Some of us could see a scattered shower or two. High once again creeping up near 90 degrees. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Now, we're also waiting to hear an update today from Sandy Springs Police and the FBI on the manhunt Tuesday that temporarily shut down a school and polling place. Officers say they were looking for an armed man in military gear near Morgan Falls Overlook Park following a dispute near Ison Springs Elementary. The man was eventually found and taken into custody without incident. Well, UGA is one of several Southern schools targeted in a new campaign from the NAACP, calling on athletes and fans to boycott over voting rights.
The Out of Bounds campaign focuses on some of the biggest schools in the SEC, including Georgia, Auburn, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Texas. The NAACP is going after major public universities and states the civil rights organization says have weakened black voting influence after a Supreme Court ruling on redistricting. The NAACP is calling on football and basketball recruits to consider alternatives, including historically black colleges and universities, and it's encouraging current athletes to evaluate options through the transfer portal. Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
And check your freezer for an ice cream recall. Some flavors of Strauss Family Creamery's organic ice creams have been recalled because they may have metal fragments in them. The impacted flavors include vanilla bean, strawberry, cookie dough, Dutch chocolate, and mint chip. They were sold in either pints or quarts with Best Buy dates that range from December 23rd to the 30th. They were sold in 17 states, including Georgia. We have more information at WSBRadio.com. It's 9:33 as we check your money, and a mixed bag on Wall Street as the bell rings here for your Wednesday. Dow opening down slightly, S&P up slightly. NASDAQ is way up at the moment, over 100 points. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. Start at the WSB 24-hour traffic center and Mike Shields.
And Judd, watching delays in DeKalb County. Trouble spots still working. I-20 westbound just past Lithonia Industrial Boulevard, and that has you on and off the brakes as you leave Turner Hill Road. You can always use Covington Highway as a wide alternate to avoid the delays on I-20. I-20 the West Freeway in Lithia Springs just watched a crash and move to the right shoulder. I-20 westbound to Thornton Road, exit 44. And delays starting to form as you leave coming into Alpharetta with daily roadwork setting up in the left lane. Georgia 400 southbound getting past McFarland Parkway, exit 12. From the Lao Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. High 89. Lows tonight in the mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow and Friday, hot and humid with pop-up showers and thunderstorms through the afternoons. Highs in the mid 80s.
Summer-like temperatures, 78 degrees already in Stockbridge, 75 in Dunwoody, 76 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, you know WSB gets you around Atlanta with our Triple Team Traffic.
Now we've got $1,000 to fuel your ride. It's WSB's A Grand for Gas.
Listen for the keyword at 8, 10, 12, 2, and 5.
You'll have 30 minutes to enter that keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB Radio app.
One lucky listener wins a grand for gas. Your next chance to win is at 10. WSB's A Grand for Gas. From the station that gets you where you want to go. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's free gas station.
Just let me know if they're eligible for the fund. As was made plain yesterday, anybody
Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen going at it with Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. The IRS settlement, what does it all mean? We go live to the nation's capital. Scott McFarland joins us in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
Cracks in your walls, sticky windows, musty odors. Your home is telling you it needs help. Visit aquaguard.net today to schedule your free inspection. When it comes to foundations, crawl spaces, and basements, there's only one name to remember. AquaGuard.
Men, if you're suffering from ED or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Priority Men's Medical Center restores men's love lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Priority Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Priority Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. Take control of your love life. Call now. 404-885-8885.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone says you can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year, no commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, or whatever else you can do with your phone. All for half the price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. That's wild. Now, all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all of that extra moolah. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to XfinityMobile.com, or visit your local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Compare savings of one Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable options from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T. As of March 24th, taxes, fees, extra, $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply. 9:37 on this post-election day edition of the Mark Arum Show. Coming up in 30 minutes, Shelley Winter's going to join us live. 10:12 a.m., another chance to win a grand for gas. I'm going to give you a keyword, and you can win $1,000, a grand for gas, right here on 95.5 WSB. It was kind of tense yesterday on Capitol Hill.
President Trump is literally using their tax dollars to set up a slush fund to enrich his own friends.
Democratic Senator from the state of Washington, Patty Murray, joining us on the IRS settlement. Live from the nation's capital, it's Washington correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, good morning, my friend.
Hey, Mark, nice to be back with you.
There's an old adage in poker circles, if you're at the table and you can't spot the fish, then you are the fish. Why do I feel like the American taxpayer is the fish at the table here?
I'm not sure who is triumphantly championing or supporting this $1.8 billion fund for convicted crooks. The president thinks it's righteous. He says it's not his idea. It's the idea of the Department of Justice. But the Department of Justice works for him, and everybody knows that. They're making an argument that people were mistreated by the Department of Justice in the past and are deserved some form of reparations. But it doesn't take a whole lot of decoder rings or compasses to figure out where this is going. They are going to provide money to January 6 rioters, violent rioters convicted by juries or who pleaded guilty and admitted their crimes. Do the American people support this? I'm not going to speak for the entire country, but I can tell you here on Capitol Hill, I've yet to find a single Republican who is out there championing this idea.
It doesn't make sense to me, especially now. You know, we're trying to deal with inflation and rising costs in the Iran war and the increasing deficit, and almost $2 billion set up to, reward people that were tried and convicted of crimes. I can't connect the dots here, Scott.
Especially at a moment of economic fragility. Clearly, people are concerned about what they're paying for things. I'm concerned about what I'm paying for things. You're concerned about what gas and groceries cost. Fertilizer costs are going to drive all that higher, not to mention housing and college. To spend our money on this at this moment is politically risky. Dubious. And we watched our primaries last night. We saw who the winners were. We saw which direction the parties are going for November. But I'm not sure how you galvanize support for the president's agenda when this is at the top of it.
Now, the backstory to this was President Trump was suing the IRS for $10 billion because he was among he and his family were among 500,000 folks that had their information, leaked criminally by someone that worked at the IRS during the first Trump administration. And instead of going forward with this lawsuit, they came up with this settlement Who is in charge of the IRS that approved this 1.8 or almost $1.8 billion settlement?
There's a lot of questions for the head of the IRS and the head of the Department of Treasury. In fact, I just got my hands on a new inquiry from a group of congressional Democrats to the IRS about this deal. And let me just read the first line of it for you. It says, the American people and the world just witnessed one of the most brazen acts of public corruption and self-dealing in American history. They'd like some answers on this. I think what you're going to see over the next 48 hours is a series of votes in Congress trying to stop this fund from being funded or being created. They're going to fail. Those votes are not going to pass. But you could just see the trajectory here, Mark, where Democrats are going to try to make this an issue for November, trying to meld together two things. That things cost too much, American consumers are getting slammed, and Trump is enriching himself and his own violent supporters. That's a campaign message. I think you're going to see that over the next 5 months.
Scott, a couple of things that stood out to me in this IRS settlement was one of them was anonymity of the recipients. We won't find out who gets the money or how much money they get, which to me is like, holy smokes, you know, who can apply for this? How many millions of dollars can they get? And the American public will never know where their tax dollars went.
We will never know if, let's say, a few $100 million tax dollars went to guys who beat, maimed, and injured and blinded police officers. Very possible. We just won't know. I mean, here's the only thing I can say with certainty. This thing is so unpopular. This is such a rotten, spoiled tuna fish sandwich right now that I think you're going to see somebody try to force changes in how this thing is operated, maybe with some transparency. Though I wouldn't assume we know the names of individual recipients, but this caveat, I covered the January 6th riot cases from soup to nuts. A lot of these people are jabronis who love to tell you what they've won and what they've secured in their victories. They may just announce voluntarily that they got a big check from taxpayers.
Washington correspondent Scott McFarland joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. In addition to that, another question that I have is, as an addendum to this settlement, the IRS agrees to never ever, forever ever, investigate President Trump or any of his family's tax returns. What? Explain this to me.
Again, these are decisions that seem politically dubious in an election year. To make this public memo that the Trump family is in perpetuity absolved of any investigation of their taxes, not just past work, but what happens in the future. It's quite something. You got a lot of people listening who are supporters of the president who say that's righteous because he was the victim of his leaked tax returns and a weaponized Department of Justice. We could argue that a different day. I just wonder what this means for people running for statewide office in Georgia or in competitive races locally in our area. Do they want this cloud over the head of their campaign? Because this thing blocks out the sun. It's hard to argue that your party is trying to make things more affordable for folks when you see the president clearly and declaratively enriching himself or enriching his supporters. And they're not equivocating about that. That's what this fund and this protection from the IRS does.
If that does get completed and there's blanket immunity for tax returns, is that irrevocable or is that set in stone, or could future administrations or future heads of the IRS roll that back?
That's a great question. I think that's what we're going to see litigated. You're going to see lawsuits here in Washington over just that issue. People are going to challenge this, arguing it's unlawful. So we'll see if the courts intervene. If not, Democrats, if they get the majority in Congress, they don't like the phrase irrevocable. They think everything is revocable. We'll see if they make a move on this. I'm telling you, this really is lining up for Democrats at just the right time. They may find this to be difficult to stomach, but this is infusing in their base energy at a moment of inflection. Not that we've heard Senator Ossoff speak on this yet, but talk about a galvanized base. I can't imagine what you could do to more galvanize the base than hand out money to violent rioters and gerrymander out black votes in the future. I can't imagine what more you can do to mobilize and marshal support for November.
Let's end with this then. On the heels of the primary elections yesterday, we saw this with Senator Cassidy. Now a lame duck senator. He voted yes on the War Acts bill in the Senate. Now we have Thomas Massey and I'm assuming a handful of others that are wet against President Trump. They got primaried out. They're not going to be reelected. Might they be free of any loyalty to President Trump, and might they vote in favor of some sort of investigation into this IRS deal? Could the votes actually be there in the Senate or the House?
This is YOLO mode that Senator Cassidy has entered, and Senator Tom Tillis, retiring in North Carolina, has already entered that mode. Imagine you've been fired by your boss, by a bad boss, and he says you got 2 more weeks and you're out of here. How hard are you going to grind over those final 2 weeks on behalf of that boss? You're going to see some defiance on other issues, not all of them. And I would enter into the picture Senator John Cornyn of Texas, who he's poised to lose his primary runoff next week because Trump just endorsed the challenger. It could be voices of dissent on big things. And the margin of error here is 3 or 4 Senate Republicans on anything. And he has now mobilized 3 Senate Republicans against him just through politics, not to mention those who are
Interesting stuff. Scott, where can folks learn about the Scott McFarland Network, get your newsletter and all that good stuff?
Every Monday on WSB, America's greatest radio station. Let me say that unequivocally. Scott McFarland Reports is on YouTube every morning, every night, 7 days a week. Enterprise reporting from the Hill without supervision, filtering, or sanitation.
And I say this with all degree of humbleness. It is one of now my show prep tools, every morning, checking out what you have to say. So good to have you back on the air with us, Scott. Thank you so much for your time, and have a good post-election day, I guess.
Sounds good. Let's do it again, Mark.
YOLO.
Thank you. Right back at you.
There you go. Washington correspondent. I mean, I listen, I'm sorry. To me, that's a bridge too far. $1.8 billion, no transparency. Who is getting the money? How much they're getting? People that were convicted of violent crimes could be enriched now. And we don't know who is getting paid or how much they're getting paid. And the IRS can never, ever audit a Trump tax filing? What? $1.8 billion. Listen, we could use $1.8 billion right now. I'm usually like, all right, I'm going to pay my taxes and whatever you want to do. No, that's my tax. That's your tax dollars. And we have no idea where $1.8 trillion of our money's going. No. That's a bridge too far for yours truly. 9:48. We're going to come back, update our top local stories. Don't forget, you can win $1,000 for gas. Next chance to win $1,000 for gas coming up at 10:12 a.m. You take that keyword, pop it into the WSB radio app, and you can win $1,000 for gas on 95.5 WSB. Checking the ride around town, Mike Shields.
And mark some better news in Stonecrest. Trouble spot cleared. I-20 westbound getting past the Lithonia Industrial Boulevard. Delays quickly improving too as you leave Turner Hill Road trying to make your way to I-285. The delays continue into Midtown. Midtown High School graduation at McCamish Pavilion at Georgia Tech at 11. So seeing that volume on the connector southbound from Atlantic Station getting down to North Avenue. Northbound delays on the connector continue leaving 166 getting up past I-20 through the Grady Curve. The support is brought by Whole Foods Market. Save on organics at Whole Foods Market. Get a 16-ounce container of organic strawberries for $4.79 each with Prime through May 26 while supplies last. Shop in store, online, terms apply. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
Election day has come and gone.
But the job is not done. We have 28 days to finish.
What happens next?
The second phase of this campaign really kicks into high gear.
Happens here.
There will be a runoff in the Republican race for governor.
Tune in throughout the day for everything you need to know.
Thomas Massey loses to President Trump-backed challenger.
95.5 WSB, your 2026 election station.
Spring weather brings everyone out of hibernation. Don't we love to get outside? But it makes our crowded roads even more crowded. Hey, it's Smiler Mark McKay. Road congestion combined with spring distractions cause more accidents. Been hit and hurt? Call the Strong Arm, John Foy and Associates. They specialize in personal injury law with an impressive winning track record, taking on the big insurance companies. There is zero cost until they win your case. Call for your free case evaluation right now. JohnFoy.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, we're barreling through 2026, but it's still early, and that means it's still a great time to get organized in your financial life. And here's the good news for folks listening out there. Hoffman Financial Group is here to help with that, aren't we?
Yeah, so we make it simple, right? And it goes back to saving people time. Don't worry about you having to work with us. We work for you. So if you were to reach out to us, we would start with something as simple as the portfolio x-ray. Simple as far as your time that you need to provide us some data points on, but we'll take the hours and we'll apply our expertise to generate a pretty comprehensive look at your financial life, specifically your risk profile, the fees in your portfolio, the performance over last year, 3 years, 5 years, the last 10 years against benchmarks. We'll also stress test it. Can we go back in time and say what would have happened to your portfolio during the Great Recession or the dot-com bubble that burst or the COVID correction? It'll give you an indication of how much your money is at risk. All of those components mixed into one simple 10 to 14 page report. We'll give you a copy of it. We'll walk you through it. And as I say, I have yet to see one that didn't have 2 or 3 golden nuggets, as I call them, of opportunity for you to contemplate possibly enhancing your financial future moving forward.
Make 2026 the year you take control of your financial life with this complimentary offer from Hoffman Financial Group. There's no cost for the portfolio x-ray, and the report is yours to keep. Call 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858 and online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Spring's here. Get that to-do list knocked out, including your roof. Hey, it's Mark Arum from my pals at Dr. Roof. 38 years of service, the trusted name in Atlanta for the roof that will last a lifetime. Book your appointment online at drroof.com. In truth, I need an hour to interview our next guest. Sadly, we have like 3.5 minutes. Dennis O'Hare joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Dennis, good morning. Congrats on your new Netflix series, The Burrows. Do you mind if I ask one question about a movie you've been in that really meant a lot to me?
My God, go for it. Go for it. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning. Garden State, 2004. Love it. One of my favorite independent movies of all time. How did you wind up in Garden State?
You know, I love that movie, too. And by the way, it was first called Albert's Bridge or Albert's Boat or Albert's Abyss.
Abyss, yeah, that's right.
Because I played a character named Albert, and I lived on a boat in this weird abyss in New Jersey, and they come and visit me at one point. You know, Zach Braff went to school at Northwestern. I went to school at Northwestern. He was definitely younger than I am, and but he had heard of me. I think we had the same acting teacher, and he called me in for an audition. I came in happily, and he liked what he saw and gave me the job. Oddly enough, I was doing a show on Broadway at the time called Take Me Out. And I remember it was a Wednesday morning they wanted to shoot, which is terrible for Broadway actors because I had 2 shows that day. I had a Wednesday matinee and a Wednesday evening, and I came in and shot at like 5 in the morning, way out in some part of New Jersey on this boat. And we shot our scenes with Natalie Portman and Peter Sarsgaard. And then I went back to New York and did my matinee and my evening shows.
You must have been exhausted.
You know, kind of flying high, though, because I love Zach. I think he's great. And Natalie Portman, come on, to work with her. And Peter Sarsgaard and I ended up doing a play called Uncle Vanya in 2008 together. And so that was the beginning of a nice friendship.
Yeah, love it. Again, I need an hour with you, but we only have a couple of minutes. So tell us about your new Netflix show.
The Burrows, you know, it's sort of Stranger Things adjacent. It's like in the same messed up neighborhood. So if Stranger Things is kids on bikes fighting monsters, The Burrows is older folks in golf carts fighting monsters. You know, but you know, it's the same kind of wacky world. The tone is funny at times, surprising. Definitely Earth, I think. I think we're on Earth. It's a really weird world. Beautiful to look at. Great music. Great score. And great actors. I mean, Alfred Molina is our headliner, and then we have Alfre Woodard, Clark Peters, Gina Davis. My God,
nice.
I get to play her best friend. We also have Clark Peters, who's a heavy hitter from The Wire. Gina Malone is in it. We also have appearances by Ed Begley Jr. and Dee Wallace. And, the thing is, we all have been doing this for a while. So when we show up to play, we know how to do it. And we had a great time on set. We had a great time making this.
Phenomenal cast. Is it available to stream now, or is it coming out shortly?
Tomorrow at the 21st of May, all episodes will drop.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Debuting on my mom's birthday, which makes it extra special. So first season will drop tomorrow.
And they planned that. They planned that.
Exactly. I said, Alice Arum, in honor of your birthday, we're going to drop The Burrows. 8 episodes in season 1. Do we know if there is going to be a season 2, or would that be a spoiler?
We don't know yet. We are fingers crossed, and I hope it happens, because these characters are super interesting, super compelling. The world is really, really hypnotic and beautiful. And as I say, it's funny when it's funny. It's scary when it's scary, and it's kind of heartbreaking when we get into some of the drama, because these are people who have lived their lives, and some of them have some wreckage of the past. Some of them have some grief. My character Wally is dealing with possibly, a shortened life in many ways. And so he's looking a bit into the abyss, talking about the abyss.
Albert's Abyss. Yeah. Dennis O'Hare, can't wait. If you're ever in Atlanta, please come in studio. I need a lot of time to talk to one of my favorite actors. The Burrows, Netflix tomorrow. News, weather, and traffic at 3. When we come back, continuing team coverage of the primary election. Shelley Winter's going to join us live, and a chance to win a grand for gas. All of that straight ahead on The Mark Arum Show.
Our weather can be crazy. Dry for days and drenched with storms. Extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all the abuse. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof has problems, it may be showing you signs. Inside, look for wet spots on the ceiling or walls. Outside, check for streaks and stains or granules in the ground. If you find these, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issues, and they offer 0% financing. Schedule your free roof analysis at findlayroofing.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, Atlanta's engagement ring and wedding band destination since 1939. Why? Easy. Hand-picked diamonds that just shine brighter at a value that can't be beat. An unbelievable selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, from classic to modern to off the wall, because hey, you like what you like. And because we've been jewelers for generations, we can bring your dream ring to life with full custom abilities. If you're getting engaged, we make shopping for diamonds easy with Atlanta's best staff of trained gemologists. Tell us what matters to you, and we'll work together to get you the best value. We're a small family-owned business. We live here. We want you to like us. Already engaged? Congrats, you found your perfect match. Time for your ring to find its perfect match. Just bring yourself, your partner, stack them up, and try as many wedding band looks as you can dream up. Make it personal with touches like birthstones and engraving. So when it's time for the next chapter, come see Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939, D. Geller & Son, in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left?
I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier-looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped.
Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
If you're hurt in a crash, there's only one firm to call, Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Numbers do not lie. Sweet James wins millions of dollars every week for their injured clients. If you're hurt, call Sweet James. Get a free case review and pay nothing until they win. 800-9-MILLION, 800-900-0000, and sweetjames.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-MILLION. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorneys.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And as you know by now, come June 16th, it's back to the polls for a runoff in the Senate and governor's races here in Georgia. The Senate runoff will feature Derek Dooley and Mike Collins. The winner will go up against Democratic Senator John Ossoff. In the governor's race, it's Jones and Jackson. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and healthcare billionaire Rick Jackson will be in the runoff in the Republican primary for governor. Former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms took the Democrat ticket. So with Jones and Jackson going at it, get ready for even more political ads.
And so, yeah, you are going to see so many ads. People who aren't really into politics are going to be sick of it, but those ads are aimed at the people they know who are going to vote.
Kennesaw State political science professor Kerwin Swint there. It is estimated, he says, that more than $125 million has been spent on advertising in the Republican primary for governor so far. Your weather for today, partly cloudy. A few pop-up showers and storms are possible this afternoon. Highs around 89. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. The Director General of the World Health Organization saying that there were 600 suspected cases of Ebola and 139 suspected deaths, and those numbers expected to rise given the amount of time that the virus circulated before the outbreak was detected.
WHO assesses the risk of the epidemic as the high at the national and regional levels and low at the global level.
Now, the CDC here in Atlanta has announced enhanced travel restrictions aimed at preventing the virus from entering the United States. 2 insurance giants are paying up over denied cancer treatments.
Anthem and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia agreed to pay more than $3.6 million to settle a lawsuit claiming they wrongly refused to cover a certain prostate cancer treatment. The proposed settlement is expected to benefit about 140 people who were denied coverage for proton beam radiation treatments. Proponents of this therapy say it's more precise than traditional radiation and less likely to damage healthy tissue and organs. United Healthcare and Aetna signed similar settlements recently. I'm Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe for 95.5 WSB.
According to KFF, a nonpartisan health policy research group, enrollment in the Affordable Care Act marketplace may ultimately fall by about 5 million people this year compared to last year. That new study says premiums have soared this year as Congress failed to extend so-called enhanced subsidies that reduce costs for most enrollees, and that's why households do put health care cost as a top financial concern. Longtime Braves manager Bobby Cox will be laid to rest during a private service today. He died earlier this month. He led the Atlanta Braves to 14 division titles, 5 National League pennants, and the World Series championship in 1995. Bobby Cox was 84 years old. And you want to check the freezer. There's an ice cream recall you might want to know about. Some flavors of Strauss Family Creamery's organic ice cream have been recalled because they may have metal fragments in them. Some of the flavors include vanilla bean, strawberry, cookie dough, Dutch chocolate, and mint chip. They were sold in either pint or quarts with Best By dates from December 23rd to December 30th of this year, and those dates are located on the bottom of the containers. They were sold in 17 states, including here in Georgia. If you bought the recalled ice cream, you should throw it away. You can contact the company for a replacement voucher. We do have more information at WSBradio.com. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 7 at 49,356. NASDAQ's in positive territory, up almost 0.5%, and the S&P's also in the green. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Smiley Mark McKay, how are we doing on the roads?
Sabrina, now that we're after 10 o'clock, that means construction delays taking hold with road work up and running, rolling into Alpharetta. I see it on the jam cam in the left lane of Georgia 400 southbound McFarland Parkway, exit 12. All morning long, it's been slow rolling into Canton past right lane road work on 575 southbound at Airport Drive. Nothing in the way in terms of road work, but certainly still a whole lot of brake lights out of Duluth and Norcross, concentrated at Highway 316, taking it down to Beaver Ruin and Indian Trail Road before you break free. From the Loud Security System Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today with a high of 89. Few pop-up showers and thunderstorms possible for the ride home this afternoon into this evening. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow and Friday, hot and humid conditions with partly cloudy skies and a few afternoon thunderstorms. Highs in the mid-80s.
It's 77 degrees right now in Johns Creek, 78 in Marietta. Jefferson, you have 77 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Wednesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Whole gang with us today. Write-in vote extraordinaire Deborah produces the program. Gentleman Jim on the phones. Vinny Drip. Her is on the other side of the takeout window. Coming up in about 7 minutes, I'm going to give you a keyword in our Grand for Gas promotion, a chance to win $1,000 mere minutes away right here on the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB. Continuing our post-primary coverage, joining us live, the man that was on the air for 5 hours last night, guiding you through the election results, the one and only Shelley Winter. Shelley, big bro, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning.
I was listening last night. Fantastic stuff as always, and kudos to you for bringing in Newsroom Pizza. Management's slipping. Usually,
you know what, Mark? It's just you and I, man. It's just you and I. We take care of our people. We're the proletariat at the bottom.
We're loaves and fishes. You're the loaves, I'm the fishes, but good stuff.
Absolutely.
Good stuff getting Election Day pizza. I want to start with the costliest race, that, of course, the race for governor. This is...
On one, I can promise you that.
Hold on. Vinny Drip was distracted eating a breakfast burrito. Let me play this again.
I love getting this guy one-on-one. I can promise you that.
That's Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Jones-Jackson, no surprise there, but are the gloves going to come off even further? Hearing that clip right now, it sounds like they might.
You know, I got to tell you, if we're describing this runoff as the gloves coming off and not looking at the gloves already being off during the primary, then I don't know what we're going to see this next month. Month and a half or a full month. It's going to be a war. I had Josh McCoon, who's the chair of the Republican Party, on last night, and he made a point that he would love to see all the runoff elections literally be ads on what those candidates will do for the voters and not negative advertising, because negative advertising drives down turnout. And if you notice on the Democrat side, they had more voters, in the early voting and also on election day. And if you notice, those guys pretty much went easy on each other. They basically, so we know on our side, less voters turned out, and that can be totally tied to the fact that it was so much negative advertising.
Burt Jones won by 5% over Rick Jackson, but there's going to be a sizable number of voters that didn't vote for them, 15% for Brad Raffensperger, 12% for Chris Carr. Is that 5% lead big enough for Burt Jones to haul off Rick Jackson, or are there enough other voters out there that Rick Jackson could surge ahead in this possibly?
So there's a thought out there that when you come in first, that's your ceiling. But I believe that Rick Jackson and Burt Jones are so close. We're so close that you could make an argument that might be both their ceilings. And so I don't think there's a traditional second place finisher, although Rick Jackson did come in second, but I don't think it's so close between first and second. I'm not sure if he's a real second place finisher. I'm not sure how many. I think the big question is going to be how many Carr Raffensperger voters come back out for either Rick Jackson or Burt Jones. Because if you voted for Chris Carr, Brad Raffensperger, clearly you were not swayed by Trump, or you're not a Trump person, because both Raffensperger and Burt Jones getting Trump's endorsement. Rick Jackson running as a pro-Trump guy, and Burt Jones getting Trump's endorsement outright. Those Carr Raffensperger voters, the question is going to be how many of them come back out, and how many of them will stay home in a runoff, especially
on the other side,
and stay home maybe in November.
Exactly. On the other side of the ledger,
my name is Keisha Lance Bottoms, and I am humbled to be your Democratic nominee for governor.
Now, if you asked me 4 months ago, I could see her winning and going to a runoff, but avoiding the runoff with 56% of the vote. I guess those internal polls were right that she was running away with this thing.
I think the most impressive thing of the night, really, the two most impressive things to me of the night, one was Derek Dooley getting into a runoff on the strength of it just shows you how strong and popular Brian Kemp is in the state of Georgia. But the bigger surprise and the big surprise of the night to me was that with the seven-person race, Keisha Lance Bottoms got 57% of the vote. When you drill down in the numbers, the primary voter for the Democrat side is primarily 60% of it is African American women. But I didn't anticipate her doing it without a runoff. It's very impressive, and I think I said it last night. I'll keep saying it. Republicans keep wishing for a Keisha candidacy on the Democrat side. I'm not sure if that's a wise thing because she's smart. She's a great campaigner. She knows politics, and let's be frank. She's a better candidate looking wise and everything. No, for real. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but this counts.
Yeah, okay. I get it. She's camera friendly. Let's say that.
Okay, I'm sorry. She's camera friendly.
Yes.
And understand this, she's got a family. She's got a husband, a longtime husband. She's got children. She's got the family dynamic. So rural Georgians, those Democrats in rural Georgia, they will respond to her. I'm not sure if Republicans really they're happy right now that they got Keisha, but I'm not sure if it's going to hold up. I'm not sure if it's the wise thing for us to be hoping for a Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Shell, can you hang on a second? I got to give away $1,000 real quick.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it.
All right. It's a grand for gas friends. Shelly not eligible. Your 10 a.m. keyword is concert, CONCERT, concert. Enter the keyword concert into the WSB Radio app or at WSBradio.com/gas. You have until 10:30 a.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. The keyword is concert. And don't forget, if you get a call after 10:30 from an 833 number, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Could be us telling you won $1,000. Keyword is concert, CONCERT, concert. Good luck. All right, returning to our post-election coverage with Shelley Winter, host of the Shelley Winter Show, live Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on 95.5 WSB. And I learned this from listening to the Shelley Winter Show back in the 2024 presidential election. Shell's African-American men voted in greater numbers for President Trump than they did for Kamala Harris, which kind of shocked pollsters. And you predicted on the show that was going to happen. So the question I have relating to the 2026 midterm election, will African-American men in Georgia vote for Keisha Lance Bottoms, or is that a voter pool that she might not do as well as she thinks she will?
I think two things. One, the mistake that Stacey Abrams made was that she didn't target African-American men until she was pressured to. That's the first thing. I'm going back. I'm comparing apples to apples. I think Keisha's team is going to be smarter than that, and they're going to go after African-American men often and early. And I think it goes back to what you call camera friendly. And I think that she has an answer for what happened in Atlanta. And some of those African-American men, you're not going to get the small business owner African-American male, but you might get your working class African-American male out. And it really also depends on who's coming out on the Republican side. When you see an ad, when Keisha Lance Bottoms talks to black men and runs Rick Jackson, if he's the nominee, saying deported or comply with police, that's going to be used against him if he's the nominee. I think Burt Jones does better with black men than Rick Jackson versus the Keisha Lance Bottoms.
I'm going to go back to the Jackson-Jones race in just a second, but it looks like, because I think, in November, we're going to see some split ballots out there. I really do. And I think we saw some yesterday when it came to the Supreme Court races here in Georgia. Charles Bethel barely held off Michelle Rankin with a 51-49 victory, but in the race for the Warren seat, Sarah Warren dominated with 59% to Jen Jordan's 41%. So obviously there were some split ballot Supreme Court votes yesterday.
Yeah, and what's fascinating to me is that Jen Jordan got so many less votes than Michelle Rankin did, and they ran as a team. like their advertising had them together, their yard signs had them together, and that was the other. I forgot that shocker too. Was that or surprise, if you will, that she got so many more votes. And to your point, Warren's race was called much earlier than Bethel's race. They had to wait for Fulton County to come out for Michelle Rankin for them to finally call Bethel. And I think really, to be honest with you, that Supreme Court race really drove turnout for the Republicans. I do believe, and I think the numbers, when we drill down on it, we will see that the interest that the primary voter interest was the Supreme Court races. And I think that the Democrats were wise to run them as a team, but they were not wise to run them as partisan judges. And I don't think that's where you saw your suburban Democrats coming down for the Republican incumbents, because I don't think people are comfortable being told outright that a judge is going to be partisan.
I wonder if, because I got, when I voted yesterday, again, I was procrastinating, waiting till Election Day. It was fine. It was smooth. But in Jen Jordan's race, she had her full government name on the ballot, which kind of threw me off. I was like, is that, like her middle name was in there? It was a weird thing. And I wonder if that maybe is why people were like, what? Who is this? And they didn't recognize it was her. Some breaking news here, Shelley, sad news. Former U.S. Congressman Barney Frank has passed away.
Oh, wow. That's sad. I liked him. I didn't agree with him, but I liked him. I thought he was a real dude. He did what he thought was right. So God rest in peace. Yeah, Barney Frank.
Yeah, that just popped. So we'll have more on that in just a little bit. All right, let's end with again the big GOP runoff for Governor Jones Jackson. Jackson's got the cash, but Jones has the president. How many times do you think we're going to see President Trump, Vice President Vance, et cetera, down here in Georgia over the next month, stumping for Burt Jones?
I think the first week of I wouldn't be surprised if the first week of early voting when it starts. I think if the president does a rally that weekend with early voting starting on that Monday, I wouldn't be surprised if the president's down here for a rally with Burt Jones. The question becomes, who else is on that stage? Is it a Mike Collins or is it a Derek Dooley? You know what I mean? It really comes down to who else is on that stage, or do they block everybody and it's just a Burt Jones rally? That's going to be the interesting thing. But I think the president definitely comes down right at the start of early voting.
And we'll probably pop in for an impromptu interview on the Shelley Winter Show, which you can hear.
I hope so. I think I've been banned. I think I've been banned at this point.
No, you're fine, Shelley. You're fine. You're not Thomas Massey or anybody. You're good. You got plenty of room to move. Shelley,
I would not mind a tweet.
There you go. All right.
Saying Shelley Winters turned on me. Oh, yeah, get my name out there. Just spell it right. 95.5 WSB.
Shelley with an E and a Y and everything in between.
Absolutely.
He is also very camera friendly. Shelley, great coverage last night. Thanks for coming on this morning and sharing your thoughts, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Hey, Deborah.
Team Shelley.
Team Shelley. See
you.
Shelley Winter, 7 to 9, Monday through Friday here on 95.5 WSB. In case you missed it, 10 a.m., Grand for Gas keyword is concert, CONCERT. Enter concert into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/gas, and you can win a Grand for Gas. 10:18 on the Mark Arum Show. Dagnabbit, Arum, do your homework. I'm going to roll the dice. We're playing craps. Smiling Mark McKay.
Good morning, Mark. Rolling into Ackworth, a slow zone out of Kennesaw. Everybody staying out of the right lane of I-75 northbound before Highway 92, exit 277. Looks like those delays starting to break down. Chris, our traffic rolling out of Kennesaw into Marietta, says watch out for a stalled out dump truck, center lane 75 southbound before Highway 5. Your delays in Alpharetta starting to thin out through Roswell, but getting through the work zone just north of Alpharetta in from Cumming is slow because the left lane's knocked out. 400 southbound at McFarland Parkway, exit 12. This report sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Save on picnicking must-haves at Whole Foods Market. Get 20% off cut watermelon chunks with Prime through May 26th. While supplies last, shop in-store, online. Terms apply. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Dean Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I need your attention.
Where you're going is a given.
Use some caution as you travel through the area.
How you're getting there.
Major slowdown.
That's the question.
The outer loop slow as you leave Truist Park.
Before you hit the navigation
And so maybe jump north of there and use La Vista Road.
Listen to the people you trust.
Unusual delays with the direction of this crash.
Updated traffic as often as you need every time you listen.
Following extreme delays.
More experience, more reliable, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, triple team traffic.
And the delays are growing out of
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
So many homeowners are looking for ways to access their home equity without touching their low rates on their first mortgage. This is Scott Slade. Well, Myland has home equity loans for just this reason. That's right, it's not only possible but very popular to have a second mortgage. So many homeowners are turning to these home equity loans to help pay down high-interest credit cards, student loans, home renovations, the list goes on. I've been talking about the guys and gals at Myland for years, and if you have questions about home financing, these are the ones you want to call. I trust them with all my home needs, and you should too. Home equity loans, refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgage, Myland can do it all. Find out if a home equity loan could be right for you. Call Myland. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Or online at myland.com. Spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Residential Mortgage Licensee 148769. Located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, you've talked for years about the importance of having a financial plan in place because it gives us that roadmap for the journey of retirement. That helps us navigate the ups and the downs, when life doesn't go to script. But hey, when can we ever count on life to go according to script?
Yeah, it never does, but we can script it out for you financially. And this is a pretty robust offer that we would present to you today. The first step is you call us or you go to unleashyourmoney.com and click that portfolio x-ray button or the 401k x-ray. That'll allow us to do about a 10 to 14 page report. We give it to you. It assesses exactly what's included in your financial life, all of your investments. From there, if you want us to take step 2 for you, again, completely complimentary, free of charge, we will build you an income plan to replace your paycheck in retirement. That income plan also includes tax strategies, which are extremely important for people in today's environment. Then, if you want us to take the final step, we can fold all of that into a full financial plan and map it out for the rest of your life or until age 100. All 3 of those offers, completely free of charge, completely complimentary. I would start with that portfolio x-ray. It'll take us a few hours to generate the report. We do all that behind the scenes. We give it to you in a half an hour, 45-minute meeting. Very valuable information for you to have on your ready and take home with you.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group today, 770-580-2024. That's 770-580-2024 or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Spring cleaning is here. Get your carpets clean for just $35 a room or stairs at $35 too. And right now, take an extra $50 off air duct cleaning. Book now at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, it's the right way to clean.
All right, fellas, time to get back in the game. It's Mark Arum from my friends at Advanced Hair. I know it's been weighing on your mind. Your thinning hair, your receding hairline, your bald spot, or all of the above. Time to get back in the game with the advanced FUE treatments at Advanced Hair. Calm, relaxed environment with experienced pros. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of breakthrough treatments. And get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. And no one else in Atlanta can offer the advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair. Fix your hair loss today, starting with your free consultation, and you'll also get $500 off if you move forward. That's amazing. Call 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR. Refine your hairline with the team that's redefined hair restoration. And do not forget to ask about that advanced hair guarantee. 470-660-HAIR or online at advancedhair.com.
If something mechanical goes wrong in your house, don't you just want to talk to a human? If my garage door doesn't work when I press the button on the remote, What are the odds I want to press 6 to have someone come and fix it? Suddenly, I'm explaining my problems to an internet chatbot who can't understand a word I'm saying unless I learn to speak chatbot. If something goes wrong with the robot door that protects my self-driving robot car, the last thing I want is to talk to another robot. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our dedicated call center is fully staffed with knowledgeable, compassionate, real, actual people, ready to listen and eager to please. They understand your needs and they understand what we do, and that makes all the difference. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come over and make it right. In person. With people.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Coolray is celebrating 60 years of bringing home comfort to Atlanta, and to say thank you, they're lowering their service fee to $60 all month long. Dave Baker here. This means now is the perfect time to get your faulty outlets looked at, your HVAC system tuned up, or that small plumbing issue diagnosed before they become major repairs. For 60 years, Atlanta homeowners have trusted the Coolray name to keep their homes running smoothly. See them on the web at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
If you really want to party with me, let me see just what you got for me. Put all your hands
The dance party here celebrating Busta's 54th birthday. He's only 54. He's only 2 years older than me. He's jacked, though. He is jacked. Happy birthday, Busta. Busta. That was 1997. Put your hands where my eyes could see. Busta, by the way, filling in admirably on some Tribe Called Quest stuff. So, big fan of Buster here on the Mark Arum Show. I am a big fan of you winning $1,000. Grand for gas. 10 a.m. keyword is concert, CONCERT. Enter the keyword concert into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/gas. Got about 3 minutes to enter the keyword, win $1,000. Don't forget, get a call after 10:30 from an 833 number. Pick it up. Could be us telling you won $1,000. News, weather, and traffic at 3. When we come back, political analyst Stephen Lawson in studio breaking down the election results straight ahead right here on the Mark Arum Show.
You got this. Come on. Come on, a little bit more.
Emory Orthopedics and Spine Center, using advanced treatments to relieve pain and get you back to living life without limits. Learn more at emoryhealthcare.org/ortho.
Your roof has been working overtime lately. Heavy rain and severe storms have impacted our area again. So how did your roof hold up? Hey, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show here. Water is your home's #1 enemy. Heavy rain and severe storms like we've had recently can expose roof leaks and lead to water damage. I recommend you schedule a free roof analysis with my roofer, Finley Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof is leaking or damaged, it's possible that you don't even see any signs yet, but you can see water inside. Look around. Check your attic, ceiling, drywall, and chimney area. Do you see dripping water, wet spots, or water streaks? If yes, think of Finley first. Finley Roofing is locally owned and operated. They always follow the golden rule to treat you right, and I trust them in my home. You can trust them too. Get peace of mind with no obligation and no charge. Schedule your free roof analysis at finleyroofing.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Hey friends, it's Mark Arum here. Do you want peace of mind when it comes to your home's electrical system? That's kind of a big deal. I want you to do what I did and schedule an appointment with Reliable, a company you can trust. An amazing limited time offer. Keep your home safe with a 79-point electrical safety inspection that identifies loose wires, worn breakers, corrosion in your panel, or outdated smoke alarms. Only $49 for real peace of mind. Book an appointment online at reliableair.com or call or text 770-594-9969.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10:30. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. While Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms secures her nomination for November, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and billionaire Rick Jackson headed for a runoff next month. Kennesaw State political science professor Kerwin Swint looking ahead at the midterms.
It's going to depend largely on the economy, prices. Right now, if the general election was held, Republicans would have a problem, but they have 6 months to get it figured out.
A new poll finds that Republicans are unhappier with President Trump and his handling of the economy than they were a few months ago, but they're largely continuing to stand behind him as the war with Iran drags on. About 6 in 10 Republicans approve of how the president is handling the economy, according to the AP NORC poll. That's down from about 8 in 10 before the war started. And when it comes to overall job approval, roughly 7 in 10 Republicans approve of how the president is handling the presidency, similar to earlier this year. Your weather for today, partly cloudy. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms are possible this afternoon. We're headed for a high of 89, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Happening now, Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens is at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, and he's set to highlight joint actions with city, state, and federal law enforcement to crack down on exploitation and violence ahead of major sporting events. Of course, it'll come just weeks before the start of the World Cup in the U.S. in several major cities, including here in Atlanta. And speaking of the World Cup, the Ebola outbreak in Africa could have an impact. Jim Ryan has more.
The outbreak is centered in Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And Congo's national soccer team is set to play World Cup matches in Houston in June. At the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention,
we're actively working with FIFA, ensuring that travelers and the American public remain safe.
Satish Pillai heads the CDC's Ebola response. The Congolese team has canceled plans to practice in areas of the country where the illness has been detected before coming to the U.S. to play less than a month from now.
The Justice Department reportedly set to criminally indict 94-year-old Raul Castro in Miami today on Cuba's Independence Day. Cuba expert Dr. Andy Gomez says Fidel's brother is expected to formally be charged in connection with the deadly 1996 shoot-down of brothers to the rescue planes, but it won't change much on the communist island.
Even if Raul gets indicted, there's no Delcy Rodriguez in Cuba that is going to hand over Raul Castro.
Cuba has run out of oil amid pressure from the Trump administration to change its ways or risk military action. This just in. Former Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank has died at the age of 86, his sister confirming that he died in hospice care in Maine today. The Democrat was one of the first openly gay members of Congress and represented southern Massachusetts for 32 years. He retired from Congress in 2012. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow is currently up 303 at 49,667. So the Dow is up more than 0.5%. Nasdaq's up more than a full percent. The S&P is also in positive territory. It's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. A smiling Mark McKay has a look at your roads.
All right, Serena, downtown, seeing an easing of the northbound side, 75-85. Still going to be slow, though. University Avenue up to Georgia State Center Park Stadium, much improved from earlier this morning. And the southbound ride into the city is fine, just the tap of the brakes on the connector southbound past Georgia Tech. Slow in that west side work zone, I-20 eastbound, leaving Six Flags to Fulton Industrial Boulevard. Police hear a unit on the scene in Ackworth waiting for a big rig tow truck to pull a box truck that rolled off the roadway back onto the road. They're working on the right side of the roadway on I-75 northbound before Highway 92, exit 277. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 89, lows tonight in the mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow and Friday, hot and humid with pop-up showers and thunderstorms through the afternoons, highs in the mid-80s.
We have 79 degrees right now in Powder Springs, 79 in Lilburn. We have 80 degrees right now in Dunwoody. More news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
You know WSB gets you around Atlanta with our triple team traffic.
Now we've got $1,000 to fuel your ride. It's WSB's A Grand for Gas.
Listen for the keyword at 8, 10, 12, 2, and 5.
You'll have 30 minutes to enter that keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB Radio app.
One lucky listener wins a grand for gas. Your next chance to win is at noon.
WSB's A Grand for Gas.
From the station that gets you where you want to go. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's free gas station.
Over the last 100 days, I've talked to thousands of Georgians. I've heard their stories, and I'm running to fight for them.
Action Jackson makes the runoff. We're going to break down all of the primary results. Political analyst. We're all tired from last night. Political analyst Stephen Lawson live in studio next on the Mark Arum Show.
Relax and let Kroger Delivery handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items. Then carefully pack your order in our refrigerated trucks. And our cool trucks keep your food fresh right to your door. Fresh groceries your way with Kroger Delivery. And right now, you can save $20 on your first delivery order. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Leaving your home unprotected from termites is just tempting trouble. Hey, it's Mark Arum with Matt Breda of Breda Pest Management.
75% of Georgia homes do not have termite protection, but termites are the most destructive bug of all. They eat 24/7, 365. They have no days off.
Get termite protection from Breda, and your rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I am the workhorse in this race, and people should not forget it. I could not leave this stage without thanking President Donald J. Trump.
Is that the first time Burt Jones' cut has ever been played over Flavor in Your Ear? Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show, 1037. Hey, how about a big congratulations to Janie in Demarest. She won a grand for gas. Congratulations, Jamie. A grand for gas here on 95.5 WSB. She's a winner. Who are the winners and losers of last night's primary voting? Joining us live in studio after a late night on television, political analyst Stephen Lawson. Did you even get my text messages last night? Or you got them and ignored them? What's the protocol there on TV set?
They were in and out. There were a lot of people texting me. I had to have my phone silenced, but you were the first person I texted this morning, Mark. So.
I appreciate that. All right, let's. I don't know where you want to start. Winners, losers. You want to start with the governor's race? How do you want to break this down?
Yeah, look. I mean, I think we've got to start in the governor's race. Obviously, Mark, we've talked about it on your show how monumental of a matchup this was on the Republican side. Really, I think for a number of months we knew that it was going to be a 2-horse race. But I think really last night what we saw, I think, is an overperformance by Burt Jones. I think he is a clear winner coming out of last night. A lot of the public polling heading into the race had Rick Jackson out in front. But for Burt Jones to win by 6 points, I think he's got a ton of momentum heading into the runoff. Look, either one of these candidates can win and emerge. But I think Burt Jones with the Trump endorsement and really I think overperforming, I think gives him a lot of momentum heading into the runoff.
Let me ask you this question because it just occurred to me. So in third place, Brad Raffensperger, Secretary of State, 15%. Chris Carr, who at one point before Rick Jackson got in the race, probably was lining up in runoff territory. He got 12%. Might we see an endorsement by Brad or Chris heading up to this runoff?
Yeah, a couple interesting dynamics. I think runoffs are all about what voters show up and what the electorate looks like. It's going to be a smaller, condensed universe of voters. Higher propensity voters that are more likely to turn out. Think your base Republican voters. That's why I think the advantage as of now is probably with Burt Jones. But I think one of the big question marks is where do those Chris Carr and Brad Raffensperger voters go? Do they support Rick Jackson? I think that there's a chance that Chris Carr comes out and supports Rick Jackson. I think Brad Raffensperger is probably likely to stay on the sidelines. But I think the bigger question is, do those folks show up in a runoff? If they were so turned off by both Jones and Jackson in the general and the primary, do they come back out and vote? That's a storyline I think is going to be really interesting.
You raise an interesting question that just occurred to me. So this is going to be the high-profile runoff, right? We're going to get to the Senate runoff in a sec. But when it comes to turnout, are Democrats going to show up to the polls at all? Or is this going to be 98% Republicans turning out for these runoffs?
Yeah, really good question. I think you're going to see a lot more Republicans show up in a runoff scenario. We're going to get to the Democrat race for governor in a second. But because of that dynamic, I think you're going to see a depressed turnout on the D side, and there's going to be more Republicans that turn out to vote because of these high-profile runoffs at the top of the ticket.
But I think depressed is too polite a word. I don't think that. So Keisha Lance Bottoms, we're going to get to her race in a second. She does not have a runoff. John Ossoff ran unopposed. Those are the two big ticket. Are Democrats do they have any reason to get off the couch?
Yeah, there's a couple down ballot races that they do have runoffs in terms of the lieutenant governor's race and I believe a couple others. But yeah, not a lot left on the table for Democrats to go decide between.
Keisha, the polls were right. I was dubious from day one. I'm like, yeah, she's going to get some votes, but there's going to be a runoff. Nada. I mean, 56, 57% of the vote runaway. To me, she's a winner because she doesn't have to spend any money now in her runoff.
She's another big winner from last night, former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Mark, we've talked about it for the last few weeks. Was there a window for her to sneak over the finish line? I argued that I saw the writing on the wall a little bit. I think that there was, and clearly she not only hit it, but she blew through it.
Yeah.
And she performed extremely well for her to win without a runoff. I think it's going to give her a number of advantages. The first being that she's immediately going to start raising money for a general election while Burt Jones and Rick Jackson have to go through another 4 weeks. That's a big head start, and it'll be very important for her. It also is going to let her to sit back and define both of those candidates on her own terms for a month. I think those are two big advantages. But I think the flip side is for Republicans, I think she is still extremely vulnerable when we get down to it in November because of her record as mayor of Atlanta, a number of controversies. I think those will be raised in a very prominent manner. And what do those swing and independent voters feel about her tenure as mayor?
With the sizable win here, first off, I was kind of shocked that Jason Estevez came in second and not Michael Thurmond. I thought it would be flip-flop there. I think Estevez does have a bright future in the Democratic Party. This just wasn't his opportunity, and the wins were behind the sails of Keisha Lance Bottom for sure. But now that she is firmly the Democratic nominee, are we going to see multiple Obamas in Georgia, campaigning for her? Are the Democrats going to send some of their big hitters down here to try to elevate her campaign?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to see all the stars coming to Georgia ahead of November. We've gotten used to this in Georgia, right? Since basically 2018, 2020, we have gotten used to being a very prominent battleground state that not only will decide the fate of policy in Georgia, but potentially nationally with this U.S. Senate race. So there's going to be lots of fireworks, lots of big names, lots of headliners. We've got 2028 presidential primaries coming up. I think that's going to play a part. So lots going on in the months ahead.
I was watching the cable news coverage yesterday. I was listening to Shelley and watching the cable news flipping between CNN, Fox News, and not once, not twice, but thrice on different networks. I heard talk about the 2028 presidential race. I heard Brian Kemp's name being mentioned, and I heard John Ossoff's name being mentioned, which to me, I didn't think there was a runway there. There was a calculus there for Ossoff. But is that a legitimate possibility that Ossoff and or Kemp could maybe float the idea of a presidential run in 2028?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to see a lot of names being tossed out there. I think Raphael Warnock is another name that people probably aren't talking about that could be a very formidable presidential candidate in a Democrat primary. He's shown the ability to raise a lot of money. So I think you're going to see a lot of names tossed about. And I think that will be, as we get closer to November, a storyline and a backdrop to the 2026 election.
Political analyst Stephen Lawson joining us live in studio on the Mark Arum Show. All right, let's get to the Senate race. We have a runoff there. Buddy Carter, the odd man out at 25%. He gave his concession speech, said he called both Mike Collins and Derek Dooley. I wasn't sure which way this was going to go as far as I knew Collins would be the top vote getter. I knew there'd be a runoff. I didn't know who would be the second place finisher.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a big win for Mike Collins. I mean, obviously you see him at close to 41%, and Derek Dooley coming into that second spot. I think it's also a win for Derek Dooley to sneak into that second spot. We've talked about the power of Brian Kemp's endorsement. Clearly, that is what pushed Derek Dooley across the finish line in his second place. It's going to be really interesting. If you look at the vote breakdown, Buddy Carter dominated in his congressional district, in coastal Georgia. I think the biggest question in that runoff is, where did those voters go? The conventional wisdom would be that they would skew more towards Mike Collins, but will that play out? And then what does Brian Kemp and Donald Trump do? We think that Brian Kemp will double down on his endorsement for Derek Dooley, continue to barnstorm the state as he has over the past few months. What does Donald Trump do in response? And does this set up another Brian Kemp, Donald Trump clash over candidates in Georgia? I think that's a really interesting storyline to watch.
Yeah, the ballot's going to say Collins Dooley, but it might as well be Trump Kemp, because, where are the voters going to go? Are they going to, and listen, gosh, we saw what happened in Kentucky. I mean, President Trump, this is still his party. He is just ticking off everyone on his enemies list, whether it's Massey or Cassidy, or that still weighs a lot. But the Georgia voters, this is a special place. Governor Kemp, wildly popular. Will that endorsement overcome the Trump endorsement?
Yeah, it's going to be a wild showdown. Mark, we talked about the president right now is very emboldened, I believe, on his endorsements. He is looking to play kingmaker. You saw it most recently with Kim Paxton in Texas. You saw it last night with Massey going down. You've seen it with Bill Cassidy going down in Indiana, the redistricting fights. We've talked about that a lot. I am very curious to see if he wades in for Mike Collins here. But I think if he doesn't, it's going to be a very close runoff. But I think if he does endorse Mike Collins, I think Mike Collins is going to be your winner here.
A lot of the money's going to the governor's race. Is there going to be money left over for the Senate race?
It's going to be hard. I think that's one advantage potentially Derek Dooley has in this runoff, is that I think Brian Kemp will be able to help him raise some money in a short sprint. But the question is how much is he going to be able to raise from donors, and is it enough? And again, where did those Buddy Carter voters go? That is what I am looking at on this screen, because the coastal Georgia represents a big portion of voters in the runoff.
Will Mr. Carter endorse?
I think he's going to stay put. I think he's probably going to stay on the sidelines, but I think that could change depending on what Donald Trump does.
All right, political analyst Stephen Lawson, we paid overtime for you, so you're going to stick around for one more segment. I don't know how we fit this in the budget, but we did. When we come back, I'm going to ask Stephen about the LG and the AG races and the nonpartisan, in quotes, Supreme Court races. That's coming up next. Right now at 10:48, checking the ride around town on this everly increasingly warming Wednesday morning, live with the latest. Smile and Mark McKay.
And we're getting there, Mark. Getting into Cobb County, leaving Cobb, trying to get up to Ackworth, and you're dealing with a truck. It's quite a scene. It's a rolled over box truck off the roadway, so a big rig tow truck is en route. Right now, everything concentrated to the right shoulder. That's where the flashing lights are. And of course, course, the truck is almost into the wooded area, I-75 northbound before exit 277 Highway 92, so slow, leaving Kennesaw rolling north toward Ackworth. Crash on the shoulder heading into Cobb County from Sandy Springs on 285 westbound before I-75 exit 20. Downtown still seeing delays on the northbound side of the connector. Brake lights are bright, leaving Langford Parkway up to I-20. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic 95.5 WSB.
With Election Day behind us, what happens
The Republican
next?
primary for governor is now moving into a new phase as Jones and Jackson will duke it out for the nomination.
How will your city be impacted?
She is a product of the state, a product of the city.
How will the state be impacted?
Runoff for the Democratic primary.
How will the country be impacted?
Thomas Massey loses to President Trump-backed challenger.
As the consequential midterm elections approach, keep listening for the answers you want to know. 95.5 WSB, your 2026 election station.
It's Eric. I had a house that was built in the 40s, and all the settling over time, the foundation, it started cracking. We could see the cracks of the walls. The doors started sticking. We knew there was a problem. Took us a long time to find someone to help us. Well, you don't need to take a long time. Go to Engineered Solutions of Georgia. They're the only foundation repair company in the entire state of Georgia with a team of licensed engineers on staff giving you the highest quality work for your home from the start.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
Triumph. The Rock and Roll Machine Reloaded Tour. This Tuesday, Synovus Bank Amphitheater at Chastain Park. Triumph 50th Anniversary. Live. Special guest, April Wine. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Triumph Live.
When your termite bond renewal comes in the mail, do you cringe wondering, how much more are they going to charge me now? I want you to switch your termite protection to Breda Pest Management, and your termite rate is locked in for 10 years. Hey friends, it's Mark Arum. When was the last time you actually saw your current service inspect your home for termite damage? Let me guess, they just walk around outside and check the bait stations. Well, it's the termites inside that could be eating your home. Feel safe with Breda's early detection process using advanced technology. They'll inspect inside and out, giving you total peace of mind that your home is termite-free. Termites, the most destructive bug of all, but Breda is so confident they guarantee your protection, and only Breda will lock in your termite rate for 10 years. Breda Pest Management, they handle bugs and critters like termites. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Castile Home Services is here to make taking care of your cooling, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems feel as simple as waving a wand with Comfort 360, the whole home protection membership. For just $14.99 a month, make getting maintenance, repairs, and replacements easier with 2 HVAC tune-ups a year and waive diagnostic fees with repairs. Plus, members get exclusive savings like 15% off any service. No magic spells required. Live comfortably ever after with Comfort 360. Learn more at CastileAir.com/Comfort360.
There comes a moment when you look at your aging parents and think, I just want them safe. I want them at home, and I just want them cared for. Maybe your mom wants to stay in the house she lived in for 40 years. Maybe dad just isn't ready to leave his garden, but you know they can't do it alone anymore. It's Belinda Skelton. I recommend Atlanta-based Four Seasons Home Care. They specialize in helping your loved ones age in place in the comfort and dignity of their own homes. With caregivers you can actually trust, every single caregiver is thoroughly background checked and carefully vetted, because Four Seasons knows when someone steps into your parents' home, they're stepping into your family. Don't settle for just anyone when it comes to the people you love most. Do what I did when my parents needed help. Choose trusted, compassionate home care. Choose Four Seasons Home Care. Google and then call Four Seasons Home Care today.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
There's so many things you want to upgrade on your home's exterior. You need experienced craftsmen who communicate and keep you comfortable through every step of your project.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus. Trust the Plus family of businesses for everything on your list.
Painting Plus, anything and everything exteriors at the highest quality. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more.
Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Number one is affordability. The cost of rent, the cost of gas, the cost of food, the cost of,
Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens on Bloomberg yesterday talking about the big election issues. Continue our election coverage with political analyst Stephen Lawson. Stephen, not much time, but I wanted to go down ballot. Where do you want to start? LG, AG, Supreme Court, what do you have?
Yeah, I think first in the lieutenant governor's race, these are both going to runoffs. And obviously for your listeners to understand, the lieutenant governor is the president of the Georgia Senate. So a very powerful position. You have the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker. Those are really the three leaders of state government. So a very important position. On the Democrat side, you have Josh McLaurin and Abila Parks, both right around 40%. They are headed to a runoff. And
That was really close. Really close race, yeah.
And we talked about that, Mark. That is probably going to be one of the only races that pulls Democrats back out to vote. So going to be really interesting to watch there. On the Republican side, we have John F. Kennedy and State Senator Greg Dolezal, both state senators who are advancing to a runoff. Greg Dolezal from Forsyth County, northern suburb, John F. Kennedy from middle Georgia. That's going to be a really interesting dynamic as well. On the attorney general front, on the Democrat side, two total blowout wins. You have Tanya Miller advancing with 85% of the vote in the AG's race on the D side, and then a huge win for Brian Strickland on the Republican side. Big win for Brian and his family, Lindsay. They're great people, and they're going to be advancing. So that's going to be a one-on-one.
Just looking at the vote totals, just to see how Democratic turnout was yesterday, Tanya Miller got 880,000 votes. Brian Strickland, 608,000 votes. Like, a lot of Democrats turned out for this primary that I don't think will be there for the runoff, which is probably going to impact the totals. But when it comes to the general election, the LG, AG favoring Republicans statewide?
Yeah, slightly favoring Republicans statewide. I think both of these Republican candidates, whether it's John F. Kennedy or Greg Dolezal and then Brian Strickland, will probably have a pretty good chance to emerge. But you never know what the dynamics of the race bring out. Obviously, Tanya Miller, African-American woman, if we see a strong push from African-American women in the general election in November, that could push her over.
We got 30 seconds. Split ballots must have been the situation with the Supreme Court. Bethel beats Rankin by only 2%, but Warren, 18-point win over Jen Jordan. That's interesting.
Yeah, you saw all of this national money coming in on these Democrat challengers to try to flip these Supreme Court races. It didn't work. I think it sends a strong message that voters in the state like their justices. They don't want judicial activism on the court, and this is a big, big win, I think, for the rule of law and for these incumbents.
Yeah, I'm just surprised at the voting margins there. Some people voted, it was split ticket is the only way to explain it. Dentons.com for all things Stephen Lawson. You're free to take a nap, my friend. You better rest up.
I'm there.
Yeah, we got runoffs to talk about in the next couple of weeks. Great stuff, as always, political analyst Stephen Lawson. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, Bloomberg News Live with the latest in the war in Iran. Social media is up and active at Mark Airman at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Triumph. The Rock and Roll Machine Reloaded Tour. This Tuesday, Synovus Bank Amphitheater at Chastain Park. Triumph 50th Anniversary Live. Special guest, April Wine. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Triumph Live.
I know about a lot of things in life, but most importantly, I know what I don't know, and I don't know anything about electrical repair. Hey, it's Mark Arum here, back from my pals at Reliable. Do you need electrical repair? Do you need a chandelier hung or a panel upgrade? Do what I do and get expert electrical repair backed with a 100% satisfaction guarantee and no service call fee with approved repair. A company you can trust, my friends at Reliable. Special limited time offer, guys. Keep your home safe with a 79-point electrical safety inspection that identifies loose wires, worn breakers, corrosion in your main panel, or outdated smoke alarms. Only $49 gives you real peace of mind. No hidden fees or extra charges for after hours or weekends, and same-day service is available. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Book Now button or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
Coming up from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, Delta Classical Concerts featuring music director Nathalie Stutzman, conducting an all Tchaikovsky program. Performing Tchaikovsky's violin concerto is Daniel Lozakovich, whose collaborations range from top orchestras to K-pop's Blackpink. Then Stutzman conducts Tchaikovsky's emotional Pathétique, Symphony No. 6. Due to demand, a third performance was just added. May 28th, 29th, and 30th. Tickets at aso.org.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning. It's 11 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Tuesday's primary is over. We now look ahead to the runoff races in June. The Senate runoff will feature Derek Dooley, Mike Collins. The winner will go up against Democratic Senator John Ossoff. In the governor's race, it's Jones and Jackson. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and healthcare billionaire Rick Jackson advancing to the runoff in the Republican primary for governor. Former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms on the Democrat side. Update on a police investigation that did stall voting at one precinct for about 4 hours Tuesday. Police say they don't believe it had anything to do with the primary, though.
Sandy Springs police were called to the Morgan Falls Overlook Park during the primary when a person dressed in military-style gear was seen in the woods after a dispute with another man. A 911 caller told police shots were heard. Officers located suspect James Andrew Dutton in the parking lot of the park and charged him with 2 counts of possession of a firearm in a city park and 1 count of possession of alcohol in a city park. Police also arrested a second suspect, Elisha Deaton, who's facing similar charges as those of Dutton. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Our weather for today, partly cloudy. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms possible this afternoon. Looking for a high of 89. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast. That'll come your way in just a matter of a couple of minutes. DeKalb County police have a suspect in custody this morning for a stabbing at a Decatur restaurant. A woman was stabbed while eating lunch at First Watch on Blackman Drive Tuesday. The person who stabbed her was somebody she didn't know. He stabbed her once in the back. She was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. DeKalb police now say they've arrested 22-year-old Walter Scrunching and charged him with aggravated assault. This is news since Atlanta's Morning News. Barney Frank has died. The longtime Democratic congressman from Massachusetts was a leading liberal who brought new visibility to gay rights. He was the first lawmaker to come out as gay. Frank died at the age of 86. Longtime Braves manager Bobby Cox will be laid to rest during a private service today. He died earlier this month. He led the Atlanta Braves to 14 division titles, 5 National League pennants, and a World Series championship in 1995. Bobby Cox was 84 years old. Dementia has a larger impact on women than men. A UC San Diego study this morning finds that certain dementia risk factors like depression and sleep problems occur more often among women. That study also found not only do women have higher rates of dementia, women were also more likely to experience poor cognitive function compared to men with dementia. And changes are coming to Google. Google saying that they're overhauling the search box in what they call the biggest change in over 25 years. As part of the changes being rolled out, the search results will now more closely resemble AI chats. Gone will be the experience of running a search and then getting a list of websites. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 364 at 49,728. NASDAQ also in positive territory, up more than a full percent. The S&P is also in the green. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca is is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. We have some lanes blocked on the downtown connector with a crash in the HOV lane and at times a right lane or two. 75, 85 northbound at I-20. You're heavy on the brakes coming up from 166 Langford Parkway. Trying to get eyes on new trouble in Dunwoody. It's a crash 285 eastbound just before Chamblee Dunwoody Road. And then rolling in slow traffic still between Kennesaw and Ackworth with trouble on the shoulder. Truck off the road. 75 north before 92. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today with a high of 89. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms possible for the ride home this afternoon into this evening. Lows tonight in the mid-60s. Tomorrow and Friday, hot and humid conditions with partly cloudy skies and a few afternoon thunderstorms, highs in the mid-80s.
We have 81 degrees in Decatur. It's 80 in Woodstock and 81 here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
I'll run this town to be near you.
11:04 on an extremely busy news day Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark, Arum, and crew with you till noon. Coming up in 30 minutes, we're going to talk tech with Kim Commando. Deborah's got some more tickets to give away. And in about 1 hour, I am going to give you another keyword in our Grand for Gas promotion. Another chance for you to win $1,000 here on 95.5 WSB, just like Janie in Demarest did in the 10 o'clock hour. Congrats, Jamie. Speaking of gas, I have not looked at the markets. We've been so wrapped up in the breaking down the elections yesterday. I haven't even looked. Oh, Dow's up big. NASDAQ's up big. And oil's down 3.4%. Maybe that's the thing. I just, watched Pot Never Boils. What is the...
Yeah, a watched pot never boils.
A watched pot
Even
never...
though it does.
Yeah. So maybe that's what I need to do from now on. Just stop looking at... the markets. Yes. We do have a couple of local stories to break down for you as well. We are going to continue our team coverage on the war in Iran in just a minute. We're going to check in with Bloomberg News. But there are a couple of other stories outside of the elections yesterday that I want to talk about, starting with that War Powers resolution. After 7 failed attempts, the Senate's advanced a resolution to limit President Trump's war powers in Iran. CBS News correspondent Michael Wallace has more.
4 Republicans, Susan Collins of Maine, Alaska's Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul of Kentucky, and Louisiana's Bill Cassidy defected and approved the resolution. 3 other Republicans did not vote.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 47. The motion is agreed to.
Wisconsin Democrat Tammy Baldwin.
They've offered shifting rationales for why we're at war, moving the goalposts by the hour.
Even if the Senate and House approve the resolution, President Trump would likely veto it, but Democrats hope it will change his thinking on the war. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
All right, continue our team coverage of the war in Iran. Joining us live from Bloomberg News, Nick Wadhams. Nick, good morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
I guess the big headline today, and there are always a number of headlines when it comes to the war, but Iran is threatening to broaden this war if the United States starts military action against them again.
That's right. I mean, this is essentially one of the key points of leverage that Iran has had in this conflict, where it's not just a battle between the U.S. and Israel and Iran, so targeting Israel and the U.S., but also targeting U.S. allies in the region, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Qatar, which, are all countries that produce an enormous amount of energy resources. So they're really trying to look for pain points here and trying to steer the president away from making good on his threat to resume military operations against Iran.
Nick, if you go back to February 28th, and I could pull up the old tapes, I was most surprised that Iran was launching these strikes on their Arab neighbors. I didn't see that coming. I don't know if the administration did, but to me, I didn't even think that was be part of the game plan. But apparently that has been a successful MO for Iran in this war, is striking targets that maybe they didn't think would be struck.
Yeah, I think that was surprising to a lot of people. It's been difficult to get a real sense for the sort of risk calculation that the administration carried out ahead of time. But I think throughout this process, what you've seen is Iran both attacking Israel, attacking U.S. bases. The administration has not provided a ton of information about the extent of that damage, though it does seem the damage is more extensive than previously reported, but also this desire to inflict pain on the energy market globally. And the best way to do that is to hit those Gulf neighbors. A country like Qatar, for example, even more surprising because there have been a lot of conversations between Qatar and Iran over the years. So you see a very deliberate strategy here by Iran to inflict pain on other countries, but also obviously to royal energy markets, and that hits pocketbooks back home in the United States.
So barring some increased negotiation and some sort of agreement, we assume that the United States is going to start military attacks against Iran. So that threat, and that coupled now with Iran's counter threat, does that move the abacus at all in the region?
It's very, very difficult today to say because we've had some indications that countries like the United Arab Emirates have launched their own strikes against Iran. But you do face this difficult situation the president's in. He wants this thing over. He wants ahead of the summer gas prices to come down. This war is unpopular at home. There's a lot of pressure to come out. At the same time, he also needs to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and he has staked a fair amount of political capital on quote unquote winning this war. So the question is, does he risk sort of increasing those bad poll numbers at home by resuming the conflict when he's also looking for a hasty exit and hoping that if they just bomb Iran into submission, they'll capitulate. But, you have to say, so far, Iran has shown no willingness to capitulate. It's really not clear that a renewed bombing campaign will get that for the president.
Nick, related to the Iran war, I don't know if Bloomberg has a reporting on this, but there was a story that popped that said the initial intention of Israel and the United States in a regime change situation was to bring back Ahmadinejad. Do you know anything about this story, and can you verify it? And if you can, your initial take on that.
Well, we are looking into that as well. I saw that reporting. I mean, if it's true, and I can't vouch for that reporting, it would show a pretty extraordinary calculus. I mean, I've been covering this situation for more than 20 years, and Ahmadinejad for the Bush administration was really seen as bad guy number one when it came to Iran. And so you have a very strange situation, again, if true, that the U.S. would suddenly be looking for a new ally. I mean, very much fits in the strange bedfellows department, though I will say in the weeks since the war began, we haven't really had any sign of Ahmadinejad. We believe he was wounded, and it does seem like, if that strategy was in place, it hasn't worked.
Yeah, really interesting there, if true. Nick Wadhams, Bloomberg News. Nick, fantastic stuff. Have a good day, my friend.
Thanks, my pleasure.
There you go. Any big breaking developments on the Iran war, we'll bring it to you live, of course, here on 95.5 WSB. The Ahmadinejad story, it hasn't been verified. WSB Radio has not confirmed this story, but that'd be pretty crazy. If that was the actual plan, like, bring back this guy to run Iran, that would be nuts. But again, the headline today is Iran's like, hey, if you strike us, we're going to start hitting our Arab neighbors again. And I know they don't want that in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. So, I mean, we're just stuck right here. We're just stuck here on the Iran war. All right, let's continue our coverage now of the horrific shooting that happened at the Islamic facility in San Diego. Joining us from ABC News, former FBI agent Rich Frankel. Rich, good morning. Thanks so much for your time. New information, new evidence, new video now on those shooting suspects. What can you tell us on this Wednesday morning?
Yeah, so they actually now have quite a bit of information. They have, something that was live streamed by the terrorists. In my opinion, that's who they are. But it was live streamed where it shows the shooters going into the school, actually searching for students in some of the classrooms. And when they don't find them, they see two other individuals outside and go outside and basically gun down those two innocent victims who were actually doing their best to actually draw the shooters out to help save the kids. So those two victims, as well as the security guard, did a great job in protecting the students of the Islamic Center. And it's just a tragedy that all three were killed.
Yeah, truly a hero there. The suspects, Kane Clark, Caleb Vasquez, the terrorist, as you mentioned. We also found out how they ended their lives.
Yeah, so they showed that one of the shooters was in the front of the car, actually turned around, shot and killed his partner, then turned the gun on himself and killed himself within the car. And that was all being live streamed at that time on a website that is kind of known for this very violent behavior, very violent videos.
Rich, what struck me when this story broke was that it was not a lone gunman, right? It was a pair of gunmen. Did that stand out to you as well?
Yeah, this is, it normally has not happened like that, except, of course, we go back to Columbine. But many of the other shootings have not been pairs. It's usually, quote unquote, a lone wolf. In this instance, you have two like-minded terrorists. Basically they met, I believe, online and realized that they both lived in San Diego. They were radicalized online. They follow some of this, it's a new term, but the nihilistic violent extremism. They follow that, and when they realized that they were that close together, they then met up and, I assume planned this out from that point on.
From their writings, Rich, and posts on social media and the videos, safe to say, these were neo-Nazis. What kind of evidence and did they leave behind about what they thought and what their motive was here?
Yeah, so they left behind a treatise, or a manifesto. So there is quite a bit in that. And while I have not read it, I have heard that in it is actually hate just across the board. It's almost like they're not just neo-Nazis. They're neo-Nazis and they're, other hate groups all rolled up into one. Basically what they're doing is they're taking every type of hate that's out there, combining it into the one group. And that's why they've come up with this new term, the NVE, the nihilistic violent extremist, which is basically just taking all hate of everyone and using that to go out and, in this instance, kill people. There are other groups online that have also advocated this type of extremism, and it's something that's very new, and it also is very focused on youth. It's very focused on everything from preteen to teen to just post-teen. So it's something that's of quite worry to those in law enforcement, because it seems to be gaining traction. It's getting bigger and bigger. One of the groups out there that, even though it's not mentioned in this, we've heard about was 764, where all these groups are out there and they're advocating hate just across the board.
Rich, finally, another thing that stuck out to me was the mother of one of the shooters actually notified authorities. She did the right thing. Unfortunately, they weren't able to track her son down before the shooting.
Yeah, she did. She identified that he left with 3 weapons and that he was wearing camo type gear when he left. And there might have even been a writing. And I believe law enforcement was trying to follow up on the writing, but just was not able to catch up in time. But she did do the right thing there. The issue I am seeing though is I guess they've identified now 30 weapons that these two individuals controlled through search warrants that the FBI went out on in the last 24 hours. So, how did they collect these weapons? Where were the weapons? And then there is also another note that I've heard that somebody actually talked about one of these terrorists espousing hate crime, and that law enforcement did go do an interview of that person. But, we've seen this in the FBI. It's hard to go out and actually do anything after the interview, because if they're not actually committing a crime, there's not much you can do at that point other than keep it on the radar and maybe open a case. But even with that, it's still a very hard path to go.
Yeah, indeed. Rich Frankel, ABC News. Rich, great insight as always. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Former FBI agent Rich Frankel. Amin Abdullah was the name of the security guard who's been praised by officials. I think there were 140 children, Deborah, in the Islamic Center. He gave his life, prevented them from dying. And Amin himself, I think he has 8 children. So a father of 8 gave his life to save 140 children. Really, really tragic story. 11:17 on the Mark Arum Show. Coming up after the news at 11:35, we're going to talk tech with Kim Commando. And a reminder, next chance to win a grand for gas right after the new news. Right after the new news, I'm going to give you a keyword. You put that keyword into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBradio.com/gas, and you can win a grand for gas. Coming up next, we're going to update our top local stories. Right now, we got to check the ride around town. Oh my goodness, she got to sleep in. Let's say hello and good morning to the incomparable Ashley Frasca.
Thank you, Mark. Pretty fresh, and the ride is too. It's not bad. It's going to get better downtown for sure. 2 different issues cleared on 75, 85 northbound near I-20, so things are going to get better for you. The ride up from 166 Langford Parkway, and something holding you up in Dunwoody as well. It's 285 eastbound eastbound right before Chamblee Dunwoody. You're on the brakes leaving 400. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Where you can save on organics. Get a 16-ounce container of organic strawberries for $4.79 each with Prime through May 26th while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, you know WSB gets you around Atlanta with our Triple Team Traffic.
Now we've got $1,000 to fuel your ride. It's WSB's A Grand for Gas.
Listen for the keyword at 8, 10, 12, 2, and 5.
You'll have 30 minutes to enter that keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB Radio app.
One lucky listener wins a grand for gas. Your next chance to win is at noon. WSB's A Grand for Gas. From the station that gets you where you want to go. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's free gas station.
Belinda Skelton with my friend Damon to tell his story about his experience with virtual imaging. It's the gold standard in early detection of heart disease and cancer. I've been encouraging listeners to get screened using their EB-CT scan. It can save your life by giving you your calcium score in your arteries, and it can detect cancer at the earliest stages. Damon, tell us your story.
I have an awful family history of both heart disease and cancer. Both parents and grandparents had one or the other. Also, my annual physicals have always been eye-opening with very bad levels of cholesterol and high blood pressure. I heard the free offer from virtual imaging. It was easy. Took 10 minutes. I was nervous, but the score came back 0.
Awesome.
Yeah. What a relief. They say for the most part, with a 0 score, I have very little chance of suffering a heart attack for the next 5 years.
Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan with few minimum requirements. Call now at 770-678-SCAN or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, we're barreling through 2026, but it's still early, and that means it's still a great time to get organized in your financial life. And here's the good news for folks listening out there. Hoffman Financial Group is here to help with that, aren't we?
Yeah, so we make it simple, right? And it goes back to saving people time. Don't worry about you having to work with us. We work for you. So if you were to reach out to us, we would start with something as simple as the portfolio x-ray. Simple as far as your time that you need to provide us some data points on, but we'll take the hours and we'll apply our expertise to generate a pretty comprehensive look at your financial life. Specifically, your risk profile, the fees in your portfolio, the performance over last year, 3 years, 5 years, the last 10 years, against benchmarks. We'll also stress test it. Can we go back in time and say what would have happened to your portfolio during the Great Recession or the dot-com bubble that burst or the COVID correction? It'll give you an indication of how much your money is at risk. All of those components mixed into one simple 10 to 14 page report. We'll give you a copy of it. We'll walk you through it. And as I say, I have yet to see one that didn't have 2 or 3 golden nuggets, as I call them, of opportunity for you to contemplate possibly enhancing your financial future moving forward.
Make 2026 the year you take control of your financial life with this complimentary offer from Hoffman Financial Group. There's no cost for the portfolio x-ray, and the report is yours to keep. Call 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858 and online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
All right, fellas, time to get back in the game. It's Mark Arum from my friends at Advanced Hair. I know it's been weighing on your mind. Your thinning hair, your receding hairline, your bald spot, or all of the above. Time to get back in the game with the Advanced FUE treatments at Advanced Hair. Calm, relaxed environment with experienced pros. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of breakthrough treatments. And get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. And no one else in Atlanta can offer the Advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair. Fix your hair loss today, starting with your free consultation, and you'll also get $500 off if you move forward. That's amazing. Call 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR. Refine your hairline with the team that's redefined hair restoration. And do not forget to ask about that Advanced Hair Guarantee. 470-660-HAIR or online at advancedhair.com.
Why is Channel 2 Action News Georgia's #1 morning news? Unmatched coverage of breaking major news. In-depth reporting showing the impact on your community, family, and money. Channel 2 Action News this morning, starting at 4:30.
I'm Channel 2's Karen Greer. When stories break, they unfold in real time. We have multiple reporters live in your neighborhood, so when it matters most, you know how it affects your family. Channel 2 Action News, every day at 4, 5, and 6.
Let me guess, you had a window company come out, sat at your kitchen table for 2 hours, and by the end of it, you felt trapped in a price that made no sense. I hear that story every single day. Hey, it's Ray, founder of Window Comfort, and we built this company to be the opposite of that experience. No pressure, no games, no inflated pricing, just factory direct windows and honest pricing backed by our unlimited warranty. And right now, we're stacking it. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, free installation, and no payments until 2028. You can finally see what windows should actually cost. You have nothing to lose and everything to save. So go to windowcomfort.com and book your free, no-pressure estimate today.
Better prices, better views. Window Comfort, meant just for you. Window Comfort.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock.
Not the greatest lyrics of a rock song of all time, but 72 years ago today, Bill Haley and the Comets released Rock Around the Clock. Didn't catch on until it was the soundtrack to the Blackboard Jungle, though, a year later. Wasn't this the theme to...
Happy Days.
Yeah.
This is a rock song?
Yeah, it's one of the first
Rock
rock
Around the
songs.
Clock.
Yeah.
One of.
Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. I am exhausted. I stayed up way too late last night watching and listening to election coverage. But I have, Maya and I will get to bed sometimes before 8 p.m., Deborah. And with Soba. But I often don't fall asleep till 11 because I get on my phone, and the next thing I know, 3 hours have passed. Apparently, teens are losing sleep because of their phones.
Yeah, this new research says that teens are losing very important sleep because they're on their phones late at night. They tend to be doing about 3 hours. So the average is about 50 minutes, but it seems like more and more kids are on their phone.
I guess I'm a teen then.
Yeah, you could be a teen. And usually it's after 10 o'clock. And they're saying, teens need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep just to prevent things like obesity and mental health struggles and everything. Yes, wash your face, kids. And all of this time on phones is leading to compromised health, lower test scores, and of course attention issues because they got to have that screen.
Yeah, I feel you, teens. I'm the same way. I'll be in bed at 8 and I'm going to get 9 hours of sleep. This is great. And the next day, like last night, I didn't go to bed till midnight. What the hell's wrong with me? Vinny, best pizza chain. What do you like the best? Pizza Hut, Papa John's, Domino's, CC's. What do you have?
I'm a little fancy. I like the Blaze Pizza.
The Blaze Pizza. Deborah, we have the best pizza chains ranked. I disagree with the number one answer.
Okay, again, this was a vote of Americans in general where they love to get their pizza. And the number one spot is Pizza Hut.
I don't dislike Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on Pizza Hut. To me, it's a little too greasy. Right now, I think Domino's is, if you're talking about chain pizza.
Domino's number 2.
Yeah, I think it's Domino's, Papa John's. I used to be
Papa John's number 3.
Yeah,
What was the one in Target? Y'all remember there used to be pizza in Target?
Pizza Hut.
That was pizza. I like Pizza Hut.
Number
Pizza
1.
Hut?
Pizza. Did you see Pizza Hut's going back to having the salad bar?
This
and
guy
the
bought
old...
90 Pizza Huts, and he's bringing it back the 70s and 80s style with the red cups for the sodas. And yeah, I don't know. If I get a craving for Pizza Hut, I'm there. But generally, I find it too greasy. But there you go. Good stuff, Deborah. All right, news, weather, and traffic in 3. When we come back, Deborah's got tickets to give away to see Harry Connick Jr. We're going to talk tech with Kim Commando, and we shall update our top local stories. Social media is active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Is your air conditioning system ready to answer the challenge of the hot and humid days we know are coming? Take advantage of this great offer from Ragsdale Heating and Air. Right now, you could take up to $1,700 off a new Carrier Home Comfort System, and that includes Ragsdale's own trusted 15-year parts and labor warranty on your new system. Ragsdale's the name I know you can trust for all your heating, air, plumbing, electrical, and insulation needs, too. They have a 4.9 Google rating and over 11,000 reviews. Go to RagsdaleAir.com or call them. Ragsdale is the name I know you can trust.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate. And there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Atlanta at 404-480-9606, 404-480-9606. That's 404-480-9606. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationatlanta.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James, the only firm to call if you're hurt in a crash. 800-9-million and sweetjames.com.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage, your dealership alternative. Well, Republicans Burt Jones and Rick Jackson will go head-to-head in a runoff race in June. Whoever wins will face Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms. And the Senate runoff will feature Derek Dooley and Mike Collins. The winner will go up against Democrat Senator John Ossoff. The runoff is set for June 16th, and I've just checked the Secretary of State's office website. Early voting for that will start on June 8th. New information this morning on a manhunt in Sandy Springs that impacted voting for about 4 hours Tuesday. A 911 caller saying that there was an armed man in camo and possibly shots had been heard. This morning, police tell us that 2 people have been arrested. James Andrew Dutton was taken into custody in the parking lot of Morgan Falls Overlook Park, charged with 2 counts of possession of a firearm. Elijah Deaton also taken into custody just across the Chattahoochee River near Conway Drive. Both are charged with possession of alcohol in a city park. Police tell us there's no evidence at this time that this incident was related to voting or the elections. Your weather for today, partly cloudy. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms are possible this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. We're headed for an afternoon high of 89. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. This is new this half hour. With thousands of soccer fans coming to Atlanta next month, the unique collaboration is looking to ensure human trafficking has no place in the World Cup. Mayor Andre Dickens this morning saying it's a penalty is the organization that's leading the effort.
The campaign uses sports platforms to help people recognize the signs of trafficking, to understand how to report these concerns, and to know where you can find help.
Now, partners include state and local law enforcement, representatives of the hospitality industry, and event organizers, all dedicated to policing and preventing the abusive exploitation of vulnerable people. Globally, some 50 million people are victims, and 1 in 3 of those are children. We have an update on the conflict in the Middle East. President Trump is defending the time frame of the Iran war. There's no negotiations on the table right now as the Strait of Hormuz is still blocked, meaning oil and gas prices are sky high. The president saying he's in no hurry to make a deal.
Well, let's put it this way. You were in Vietnam 19 years, right? You were in Afghanistan and these other places 10 years.
And the president went on to say, quote, I'm in 3 months, and much of it's been ceasefire, so... 2 insurance giants are paying up over denied cancer treatments.
Anthem and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia agreed to pay more than $3.6 million to settle a lawsuit claiming they wrongly refused to cover a certain prostate cancer treatment. The proposed settlement is expected to benefit about 140 people who were denied coverage for proton beam radiation treatments. Proponents of this therapy say it's more precise than traditional radiation and less likely to damage healthy tissue and organs. United Healthcare and Aetna signed similar settlements recently. I'm Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe for 95.5 WSB.
In case you're just joining us, former Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank has died at the age of 86, his sister confirming his death in hospice care in Maine. The Democrat was one of the first openly gay members of Congress and represented southern Massachusetts for some 32 years. He retired from Congress in 2012. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca joining us now. She has a look at your roads.
Still a bit crowded trying to get between Kennesaw and Ackworth on 75 northbound. Box truck went way off the road before Highway 92. All the first responders have left that shoulder. They were hanging out on the shoulder, so lanes are open. Things will start to improve there. Still something holding you up. Can't get eyes on it. 285 eastbound before Chamblee Dunwoody Road has you on the brakes leaving Georgia 400. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today with a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, high 89, lows tonight in the mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow and Friday, hot and humid with pop-up showers and thunderstorms through the afternoons, highs in the mid 80s.
82 degrees in Chamblee, Stockbridge, and Tucker. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Get the WSB radio app.
This story is breaking right now.
Get notifications from your source for news.
If you have the WSB radio app, then you saw the breaking news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Don't miss a thing with the WSB app.
Download it from the App Store today.
Coming up next, Deborah's got Harry Connick Jr. tickets to give away. We'll talk tech with Kim Commando and the latest on the primary election results. All straight ahead on the Mark Arum Show.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Limit 10. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
You want to know why you should call the accident attorneys at Sweet James if you're hurt in a crash? Check this out. Sweet James' client riding his motorcycle on the freeway. Car crossed into his lane, knocked him off his bike. His accident left him with fractures and spinal injuries, needing multiple surgeries. He called Sweet James. Here's what happened next. The attorneys at Sweet James stepped in, fought back, and delivered a win of $2.25 million. They can't guarantee the outcome. Results vary, but experience matters. If you're hurt in a wreck, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James for a free case review at 800-9-million, 800-900-0000, and sweetjames.com. Pay nothing until they win.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorneys.
Men, if you're suffering from ED or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Priority Men's Medical Center restores men's love lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Priority Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Priority Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. Take control of your love life. Call now. 404-885-8885.
Good news for Georgia Power customers. Last year, base rates were frozen to help keep costs steady. And as our state grows, new large energy users are required to pay the cost to serve them, protecting homeowners and small businesses. More stability, more predictability. Learn more at georgiapower.com/rate freeze.
11:37 on the Mark Arum Show. A reminder, your next chance to win a grand for gas coming up in 30 minutes. I'm going to give you a keyword right after the noon news. You enter that keyword into the WSB Radio app, and you can win a grand for gas. But you don't have to wait 30 minutes to win. We got a pair of tickets right now to see Harry Connick Jr. at Synovus Bank Amphitheater at Chastain on July 11th. So we're going to do the 11th caller again. 11th caller to Gentleman Jim to 404-872-0750. Caller number 11 to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see HCJ, Harry Connick Jr., courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95.5 WSB.
She always knows her place. She's got style.
Joining us live on the program, beloved guest, colleague, good friend, Kim Commando. Kim, good morning. How are you, buddy?
I am fantastic. We're going to talk about making money with AI.
I love this because we keep talking about AI is going to cost all these jobs, but apparently, according to Kim Commando, AI is actually creating some jobs too.
Well, this actually started because a friend of mine recently graduated medical school, and he's waiting on acceptance into a residency program. And in the meantime, he was explaining to me that he's making $85 an hour working for an AI company, reviewing medical outputs and then flagging what AI gets wrong. And he's working like 60 hours a week. And what's so funny is that the AI comes to him and says, hey, dude, you need to go outside and get some fresh air, because he's kind of an overachiever. But here's the deal, is that we've all had the hallucinations from AI, right? Mm-hmm. And so these companies are hiring people that have like medical backgrounds, legal backgrounds, HR, engineering, coding, any type of professional service. And they're paying up to $100 an hour. And if you don't have those type of skills, but you still want to get involved in like review responses, you could make anywhere from $15 to $40 an hour.
So basically, it's like an editing or copy editing kind of job.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, CPAs will audit AI-generated financial models. Nurses are hired as clinical validators. HR directors are AI compliance officers. And as I mentioned, the engineers and the developers. The hottest roles are what's called red teamers. And they're getting paid to break AI systems on purpose. And, of course, we have safety evaluators and prompt engineers. And if you are, like, that type of person, I mean, there's a lot of money. We're talking about Anthropic, OpenAI, Google. They're paying people like anywhere between $150,000 up to, sit down, up to $300,000 a year for people who can find problems in their models before the public does.
Well, I'm not at that level, and I'm not a doctor nor a lawyer, but that sounds like a pretty cool side hustle. Work from home and kind of correct what AI generated answers give you.
Yeah, I mean, you read the AI responses, you flag what's wrong, you explain why, and you get paid. I mean, yeah, love that. So where do you go? I'm going to give off some places where you go, and if you need these links, we have them over on the website at commando.com. But one of the big companies called Data Annotation, and it's specifically built for AI training work. And as I mentioned, what you do is you read the responses, and you do have to apply. You don't need a degree. You don't need any coding. But you also don't need to commute, right? Indeed is the biggest job board in the country, and they have full-time, part-time, remote, all in one place. What you're going to search for is phrase AI trainer. And then there's ZipRecruiter too. Different companies will post here than on Indeed. You have some more listings, different opportunities. And the thing is that you want to look at all these different places because these roles are posting faster than they're filling right now.
Work from home side hustle with the price of gas is extra lucrative too. So go to commando.com and find out where I'm going to do that because I got a couple hours before my nap after the show. I could use some extra money. Speaking of AI, I've actually in the last week or so, Kim, I think since we last talked, I've started using the AI mode on Google, and I'm enjoying that. I'm finding that to be very helpful.
It has gotten a lot better, but I don't know if you heard of the researcher his phone was ringing off the hook for a couple of days. Did you hear about that?
No.
Google's AI actually published his home phone number. I mean, his cell phone number, rather, not his phone phone, but his cell phone number. When people were asking like a specific question about science, they're like, "Oh, well, here's his phone number. You should ask him directly." And so, and now it's like, so how do you get that phone number? And so now Google's saying, well, we may have made a mistake, and we are
maybe,
yes, and that we're trying to fix this. And so, if your phone number is somewhere in a public database or even with a data broker, that you may end up being part of an answer. And so Google has a removal tool. And so if that ever happens to you, or if you want to just make sure you are removed, is that you want to go to that Google removal tool.
That's kind of gross. This is great. I don't have children. I've got dogs, and I'd love to know what they're saying when they bark. Can AI actually translate what baby cries mean?
You know what? This is amazing. I mean, because, one of the things I've always said is, like, I love when kids get to be, like, 2 or 3 when they can say, like, my tummy hurts, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, thank you for that. When you really have no idea. So there are now AI apps that are popping up that are trying to translate the crying babies. And, like, there's Chatter Baby. It analyzes short recordings of a baby crying and then will tell you if the baby's hungry, fussy, or just doesn't feel good. So it's not quite like Google Translate for babies yet. It's kind of like, maybe try this next before you start pacing the hallway like a Victorian ghost type of thing, right? So it'll listen for acoustic patterns, pitch, rhythm, duration, intensity, and how the cry changes. And then it will compare that to cry samples from other babies and give you a guess.
That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing.
Well, they say that it's 90% accurate. Okay. But again, we are saying that it's 90% accurate with a baby, but the baby can't really tell us if it's 100% true, right? So
I just think about having fun on a plane. We've all been on a plane where there's a baby crying, and if I could have that on my smartphone and go up to the baby's parents and be like, this is what your kid's bitching about. Please shut him up. That would be a nice tool.
Give him a bottle, okay? Just do that.
Exactly.
Right?
The kid wants a Bloody Mary, Mom. That's why he's crying. Kim, AI is a boom. You've got an AI newsletter for real people, not just the tech bros. How can the folks sign up?
Oh, I'd love this. Every Thursday, it's just a 5 to 10 minute read. I tell you everything that's happening in AI. Give you a great prompt. Tomorrow's prompt is about what you need to actually put in to analyze any type of contract that you may be looking at. And so to sign up, just go to splashofai.com. That's splashofai.com.
Splashofai.com. Kim, always a pleasure, my friend.
You betcha. Thanks, Mark.
Look at that. Kim gets music coming in and going out. Splashofai.com, commando.com. That's really cool, though, those AI side hustles. I would check that out on commando.com. Who wouldn't want to make $80 an hour as a side hustle? I mean, not everyone's making Vinny money. You don't need a side hustle anymore. That's the problem with Vinny being full-time now. He's losing the drive to make music.
That's true, Vince.
I have not touched Uber nor music since I got full-time.
You've been sitting on your laurels with these full-time bennies. It's ridiculous.
You're not wrong. I might be tripping.
All right. Congrats to Rodney. He won tickets to see Harry Connick Jr., courtesy of the Mark Arum Show. Your next chance to win a grand for gas coming up after the new news here on 95.5 WSB. When we come back, things that every 40-year-old should have done by now. If you're 40-ish, you should have done these things. Deborah will list the things after we check traffic at 11:46. Back live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Ashley Fresca.
Pretty crowded getting between Dunwoody and Doraville with trouble on 285 eastbound right before Chamblee-Dunwoody Road. Things getting a little bit better downtown, but still on the break. 75-85 northbound coming up from University Avenue, and it's a slow ride on the west side perimeter. 285 south beginning as you approach Hollowell Parkway, trying to ramp onto I-20. Traffic brought to you by ReliableAir.com. If your AC kicks on and then shuts right back off, that's your system struggling to run correctly. Call Reliable Air. From the Loud Security Systems Traffic Center, Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
You know WSB gets you around Atlanta with our Triple Team Traffic.
Now, we've got Get $1,000 to fuel your ride. It's WSB's A Grand for Gas.
Listen for the keyword at 8, 10, 12, 2, and 5.
You'll have 30 minutes to enter that keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB Radio app.
One lucky listener wins a grand for gas. Your next chance to win is at noon.
WSB's A Grand for Gas.
From the station that gets you where you want to go. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's free gas station.
You didn't cause the crash, but just like that, everything changes.
When you're hurt, you need more than a lawyer. You need someone who sees you, fights for you, and never lets you get pushed aside.
Call attorney John Foy and Associates today.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
If you've been hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle crash, you're probably asking, who do I trust? There's only one firm to call, friends, the attorneys at Sweet James. You've seen them all over Atlanta. Here's what makes them different. Many of the Sweet James attorneys used to represent insurance companies, so they know how they work and what comes next. Sweet James steps in, takes over, helps you get to the right doctors, and handles your case so you can focus on healing. They fight to get you the most money possible and help you get back on the road. They've recovered over $2 billion for injured accident victims, and you pay nothing unless they win. Call for a free case review, 800-9-million, 800-900-0000, and sweetjames.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorneys.
At Ameris Bank, we know it's never just business when it's your business. So we're here to be your partner. Whether you're launching a startup, expanding locations, or managing daily finances at your company, you can do it all with a committed financial partner on your side. Our expert business bankers are ready to empower you on your financial journey. We're Ameris Bank, and we're fiercely yours. Find your local business banker at amerisbank.com/businessbankers. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Avoid the headaches of a traditional home sale and move on your timeline with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. No showings, no open houses, just a simple, stress-free way to sell your home. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-611-2046. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-611-2046. That's 800-611-2046. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At some point, you stopped calling it pain and started calling it, hey, it's just how I am now. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back with you. That's not okay, folks. And deep down, you know it. I'd love to lead you back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. So let's get started now with an introduction to the medical team at QC Kinetics and their long-lasting regenerative treatments for joint pain. They're helping patients with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, shoulder, hips, and even lower back. They're moving, sleeping, golfing, running without surgery or long recovery. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body already knows how to heal. QC Kinetics finally gives it the right tools. No operating room, no hardware, no watching summer come and go from a recliner. Just getting back to being you, the version of you that doesn't map out a route based on where you can sit or avoid stairs. QC Kinetics, better starts here. Schedule a free consultation today. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
11:52 on the Mark Arum Show. Happy 80th birthday to Cher. As Shelley would say, she's camera friendly. 40 years ago, Cher was only 40. Deborah, a list of things that people should have done by the age of 40. We're going to play rapid fire. Ashley in studio. Ashley Frasca and I, both 40-ish. Let's just say there. All right, what should we have done by the age of 40?
Bought a house.
Yes.
Gone traveling.
Yes.
Donated blood.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's been a while. I need to do that again.
Had your heart broken.
Yeah, multiple times.
Volunteered.
By Ashley.
By Ashley, yes.
Ironically. Yes.
Volunteered.
Yeah, always.
Won $10 in the lottery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Learn some basic DIY house skills.
100%.
No. I'm not handy.
Owned a pet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Written a will.
Nope, I need to do that.
No. Visited at least 3 of the 7 wonders of the world. No.
I don't even know what one is.
The Grand
Niagara.
Canyon. Yeah.
I've been in Niagara.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls?
Vinny's still
Correct.
got
Yeah,
a
I've
couple
been there
decades to go.
multiple.
It's
Yeah.
Oh, Niagara Falls, I've done that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Had a child.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know.
Fallen in love.
Oh, yeah, multiple times.
Had a hangover so bad it made you want to quit drinking forever.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. Tequila. I can't drink tequila anymore.
Me?
because
You can't
of
hang
that.
on talking
Really?
to
Here's one. Been on a cruise. We've both done that. Been whale watching.
I don't
Multiple
think
times.
so.
You got to do it, Ashley. It's amazing. It's one of the best experiences. Been sacked from a job. I can't imagine you've ever been
No.
fired. Yeah. Not even that. You worked at a bathing suit store.
I quit.
You quit. You didn't get fired there. Let's see.
Gone skinny dipping.
Never.
No.
Ashley.
Stop, don't look at me like that.
No, really?
No, really, no.
You go to the lake in the
Ew, gross.
all the time.
No.
Yeah, no. I've been asked to go skinny dipping, but I politely declined. This
Okay.
was years ago.
How about flown first class?
Oh yeah, I need to.
No.
Really?
I'm cheap.
We're
I'm
not
like
going
Clark
anywhere,
Howard's
yeah.
long lost daughter.
Yeah. Had a one-night stand.
Got silent in here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Tried being a vegetarian or a vegan.
I do that every Lent.
I went pescatarian for a couple of years, but
Yeah, I
I've never
remember
done that.
You watched a video about how sausage
And
was made.
created a family tree. Yes, on Ancestry.com. And I can't figure out how to log into my account because I created the account with mark.arum at coxradio.com, which is now defunct. And I'm getting charged $200 a year now still on Ancestry.com.
No.
Yeah, I need Clark Howard to do that. All right. Good stuff, Ashley Frasca. Thank you, Deborah. Green.
Now you know because of the Mark Arum Show.
A lot of the public polling heading into the race had Rick Jackson out in front, but for Burt Jones to win by 6 points with the Trump endorsement, I think gives him a lot of momentum heading into the runoff.
Great post-election analysis from political analyst Stephen Lawson. He joined us live in studio. Now you know.
They're making an argument that people were mistreated by the Department of Justice in the past and are deserved some form of reparations, but they are going to provide money to January 6th rioters.
Washington correspondent Scott McFarland joined us live in D.C. on the dubious IRS settlement that was introduced. Now you know.
Basically what they're doing is they're taking every type of hate that's out there, combining it into the one group. And that's why they've come up with this new term, the NVE, the nihilistic violent extremist, which is basically just taking all hate of everyone and using that to go out and, in this instance, kill people.
Former FBI agent Rich Frankel joined us talking about the 2 gunmen in that horrific shooting in San Diego. Now you know.
It's not just a battle between the U.S. and Israel and Iran, so targeting Israel and the U.S., but also targeting U.S. allies in the region, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Qatar, which, are all countries that produce an enormous amount of energy resources.
Nick Wadhams from Bloomberg News joined us live. The very latest on the Iran war. Iran now threatening to broaden the war and attack more of their Arab neighbors if the United States continues military action. Now you know because of the Mark Arum Show.
now. Are you guys ready for the Mark Arum star of the show?
She slept in but came in late. Gotta give Ashley Frasca a star of the show. I love midday afternoon drive, Ashley. You're
Totally
like
different.
happy, you're glowing,
Had a cup of coffee on the back deck with the songbirds.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So Ashley gets a star of the show. Scott MacFarlane, good stuff from him. Actor Dennis O'Hare, love him. He's in a new show called The Burrows on Netflix. It drops tomorrow. Shelley Winter, Stephen Lawson on The Election. Kim Commando, great stuff as always. Nick Wadhams from Bloomberg. I'm just firing these. Ashley, I'm going to let you decide.
I only heard the interview with Rick.
I have a specific question. Chip Canales went up, stole me Sweeps TV for breakfast, brought it down, but didn't bring syrup for my waffle.
He had 3 plates in his hand and orange juice.
And not one for Vinny.
And not one for me, though.
No,
But
I'm just
it's
asking.
okay.
He brought me breakfast. That's all that matters to me. But there was no
What's
syrup.
the question?
Should he get star of the show?
Oh, no.
I'm going to say yeah.
Oh.
I'm just going to say yeah. Because the eggs and it was great. So, all right, Chip, you got one. All right, Grand for Gas giveaway coming up after the noon news. I'll be on social at Mark Arum. Stay safe. Have a great Wednesday, Atlanta.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard. Sponsored by Southern Exteriors.
The way homes are listed for sale is going through a major change because now there's going to be a pre-market environment where you might go to Zillow and it will say coming soon. They want to test the price they've come up with for a home. They're trying to get feedback from other agents, maybe potential buyers, and that price you see may actually be inflated above what it'll be once it goes on the market.
Are you worried about your roof? Does it look bad? Is it unsightly? Are you seeing some damage, maybe some leaks? Well, spring is here. Time to take care of your roof with my pals at Dr. Roof. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. 38 years of service. 20 years in a row, they've been awarded the Consumer Choice Award. Amazing, amazing guarantees as well. If your roof is an issue or could be an issue in the future, check out my pals online at drroof.com. That's drroof.com.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12 o'clock on this Wednesday, May 20th. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. The news here at noon is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive and our top story.
Human trafficking